Hi, my name is Zack Viox. Welcome to the Creator Chronicles Fracture, brought to you by BTV D&D. Our producers, Brendan Mitchell and Mike Maisel, are the ones that made this possible for us, and on the set we have our floor director, Jake Luby. Now, let's get an introduction to the characters.
Hi, my name is Zach Reith. I am playing Aces Valron, the Dragonborn Fighter.
Hey, my name is Clay Preger. I'm playing Alanon Yornaic, a half-elf executioner.
I'm Brandon Meyer. I'm playing Arthur Ashenhurst, human barbarian.
Hi, my name is Kyle Bushley. I'm playing Dell, a high elf naturalist.
I'm Drew Seiler. I'm playing Ezekiel von Arturus, a human vampire.
I'm Keith Adler. I'm playing Panzer, a Forge-born fighter barbarian enforcer.
I'm Brennan Hirth, playing Jesper Klaus, human paladin.
And I'm Matt Bailey. I'm playing Dean Bradshaw, human wizard.
All right, well, as an introduction for the characters for you two, we've been playing this campaign for about 26 sessions now. Like 3/4 of a year or something like that?
Around there.
Yeah, something like that, you know. So, to catch you up to speed, we'll be having a recap release at some point in the future. You can find these videos on the Bearcast Media YouTube channel upon release. And besides that, I think we can get right into the game, right? So, where we last left off, this group of adventurers, now known as the Peacekeepers, an unlikely pairing of individuals from basically across the entire world of Sanctuary, have come together in order to find 16 pieces, part of the soul of a once dead god, to try and bring back this dying world to its sustenance. This group of individuals had recently found a new piece, located in a distant jungle somewhere within the island nations of Keet. Within there, they are looking for a crashed ship by the name of the Osprey, previous ship of the once dead god who sundered the world and brought it to damnation. This party then made their way to a pirate town by the name of Laloga. In this pirate town, several political games and scheming occurred, while the party attempted to figure out what was truly happening, who they could believe in, and what action to take course in. A few people in the party eventually succumbed to a bit of bloodlust one night after noticing a bit of an ambush in the distance. The party decided to make their way towards the area and basically ambush the ambushers against them. After successfully counter-ambushing, you could say, the party felled all of them besides one of their compatriots, going unconscious. Aces Valron, the Dragonborn, found himself unconscious, being carried away in the distance by a bugbear. On his way there, the party immediately attempted to scour the region looking for him, while the party's wizard, Dean Bradshaw, made his way into the skies in order to look around for him. Easily enough spotting the bugbear hiding amongst the alleys of the body, Dean, giving commands to his compatriots below him while flying, continued following the bugbear into a neighboring house. In that house, eventually, they were greeted by one of the politicians that was basically keeping in control of the city, one member of a triumvirate of individuals that's hold on the city was far more powerful than the rest. A lot of other political games occurred, and the party eventually had a single seated conference between themselves, their allies, and the rest of the triumvirate, trying to figure out a scheme that had been developing within the city. Afterwards, they were victorious as two of the pirate lords were, or two of the leaders of Laloga were found to be conspiring against the other one of the triumvirate. After this, they were then gifted with several boons, particularly the exact location as to the piece they were looking for. After currying favor from the pirate lords that existed within the entire island nations of Keet, they decided to charter passage with them to help find their sealed away friends, which their location was now known to them. A distant island north of the city of Laloga. Hearing that they had been stranded there by some monstrosity, they eventually got their way to a small island outside of the stormy weathered island they were going to be heading into. And a place terribly unfit for regular ship vessels to traverse into, but not too terrible for that of a seasoned fleet of pirate lords. As the party made their way onto this separate island, they were greeted by what seemed to be a small encampment on it. A group known as the Elemental Warband, which had set themselves up, ran by one Charles, sort of figurehead to the group that had the powers of elements sort of at his side, the party would come to know. As the party got there, they were introduced that the thing indeed keeping the rest of the pirate lords on the island was a kraken, a gigantic tentacled creature making ships its prey and keeping the pirate lords on this island for any obscene reason. The rest of the party then was told to escort out of the longhouse so the pirate lords and Charles could discuss matters. It's right there at the inside of the encampment of the Elemental Warband that we begin our journey once more. So, peacekeepers, what would you like to do?
Find ourselves a kraken.
Yeah. They're all like talking in the building.
Yeah, so they're all talking in the building right now. There's a bunch of regular warband people bruising or about.
Can we get our weapons back?
That's right. Your weapons are still on the beach.
They laid it down on the beach.
They're still there. You see some people at the beach kind of safeguarding them. You see as the tide's starting to roll in, one of them kind of like picks it up, picks up your flail, like puts it back a bit.
There we go.
Thanks.
So we can go collect those and take them.
Well,
Let's go
we should
get
probably-
our weapons.
I hate a lot of weapons. I want those back.
Yeah.
I just bought that halberd over there.
I'd like to get my piece of shit one before it breaks apart.
Was it Albert?
So you guys make your way back over towards the beach. You see a few of the warband people are like, you guys have a lot of weapons.
Yup.
Well, half of them are between these two.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's my dagger right there.
Oh yeah, let me get that for you. Because
Are
you
we
guys,
permitted to have these back, or
you guys get your weapons back.
I'm already putting them on anyway.
they're not gonna stop us at this point?
So what are the rules for weapons in the city?
So one of the women comes up. You see she has black hair, kind of like tied into a tight bun behind her head. Just you see regular these fire bows, these guns at her back as well. All of them are armed with these weapons. She comes up in the regular leather armor. We're kind of just an encampment here for now. We wander around the entire Kishan Isles. So pretty much, don't screw with us, and we won't screw with you.
All right, that sounds great. We're not here to cause any problems, so we should have a great time.
She gives you like a curious look. All right, sure. We're gonna head back into camp.
Laying it on a little thicker.
I think you're about done, man.
I feel like you're about to head.
Dean, you got your one weapon?
Yeah, I got my dagger. I'll do a cool flip.
All right, make a dexterity check.
That'd be
Oh boy. 5.
Total 5. You kind of look at Jesper and say that word, and you kind of toss the dagger in the air. It kind of like pricks you a bit in the hand, and then that falls and clatters into the sand.
You're bleeding.
You fix it?
No.
Let's go back.
Are the pirate lords talking with Charles right now?
Yeah, they're in the longhouse talking with Charles and Violet.
Shall we join them?
I think we should.
Let's go.
Oh, we were told to
Do
go.
we
Kick
just
us out.
we
So
just
we
left?
just finished
Yeah,
talking
yeah,
to Charles. Yeah, we got kicked out of
Let's
there.
not go.
Yeah, so I guess we should just hang out at the camp right now for right now, right? Like,
How big is this island?
I think that's all we can do.
This island is about a half mile at its longest. It's not very large. It seems to just be what they said, a small outpost encampment just laid out before they head into the storm, figuratively and literally.
Is there anything to do?
You see some fresh vegetables and fruits being chopped in the corner, as well as some meat that you're not sure of. Looks like some sort of fish. In the other area, you see what seems to be a tinker's tent. You hear a lot of small ding, 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 and a lot of machinery noises being heard from inside the tent. Other than that, there's not a whole lot here.
You guys want to wait?
Yeah,
just
go
go
around,
around,
I
Not,
guess.
not much else we can do.
Yeah, we just hang around, eat some fruit.
Do we have rations for the trip?
I mean, what's a fruit laying around?
Is that for us?
I'm pretty sure we haven't eaten anything besides dried meats and like dried
Exactly.
fruits probably for this whole trip. So enjoy yourself, man.
Let's get some fresh food.
Yeah.
A big pumpkin, you can smash a watermelon.
So you guys head over to the food stand. Looks
Might
like.
as well. Are these for just grabbing, I guess?
So as you head over, you see what seems to be a butcher of sorts, kind of adorned in the regular leather armor, but he has a really, really muddled and muddied like apron on, as well as what looks to be a small chef's hat. And he seems to be a half-orc individual sitting there with his tusk out, just chopping some what looked like fish. You see a fruit basket behind him as well. It's a larger stand. It's a stone slab that he's cutting everything on. It's just a canopy over it. As you approach him, he goes,
Oh, I wasn't expecting a group as big as you. Well, what do you want? We got some regular salmon. We have some deep sea cod. If you want some vegetables, we got watermelon and citrus, all kinds, different varieties. We can mix it up in a bowl if you want.
I'll take your best fruit salad.
Fruit salad.
Yes, he is right.
I've never really made that before, but give me a second.
and he whack makes one cut of the fish, sticks to the side. You see he starts getting out some wooden bowls. Upon closer inspection, look to just be hollowed out coconuts. As he goes and brings them over, he begins sort of cutting up some fruit with the same cleaver, actually, and just cutting them up and then putting into a bowl, and then hands it to you.
That's the best I got for you.
Good enough.
All right. Anyone else? What else?
I'll take one.
Take
I'll
one.
take some fresh fish as well.
Some fresh fish. All right. Anyone else?
I'll take some fish.
Some fish.
It's raw, right? It's not like cooked.
Some of it is cooked, some of it isn't. The one that he's cutting right now obviously is raw, but you do see some hanging behind him on a rack.
Can I get some cooked fish?
Yeah, sure. Can you eat?
Do you eat?
It's not necessary, but it can be done. I've got like a clanky clank.
Yeah.
So
Are you just going to smash it up and
swallow?
drop to your
fish, don't quite. It's fine. It's fine.
What happens?
He just wants to be like us, guys. It's okay.
If you're going to waste it, give it to me. I will eat it. And
That's what
eat
I was gonna do.
Oh,
thank
Out
you,
of
buddy.
game, I was gonna give it to other people so that people could get more food.
All right, the man gets the rest of your orders, however. You all get fish, various degree of fish and fruits as well. It's a lot fresher than what you've had, easily. It's not unsalted, and it's pretty new. You get the feeling that the people here, the way that they're moving about and how this is just a, for the moment, encampment, you get the feeling that they don't really have enough time to, like, prepare food. You just eat it on the spot and go.
I'm gonna divide my portion up and give everyone a little extra. And then when I get to Dell, I'm gonna give him 2 portions extra. I'm like, you need to put some meat on those bones. Or not Dell, Dean, sorry. I need to reference my
Faux pas.
sheet. Faux pas.
Panzer, you've been with us for months. You still got
It's okay. We're all still getting to know each other. Getting
Right.
to figure
I've
each
never
other
talked to him.
I think some circuits are loose.
It's been months. I've never talked to him.
out. You're right up there.
Thank you, Panzer. If you insist.
Almost. Well, you're pretty thin, right?
I mean, I'm not like super thin.
Dean's a beefy
I'm
boy.
pretty thin.
Okay, well,
You could feed me.
Not like that.
The stuff's been good to me, I'm looking good.
You all eat your rations, eat your food.
We're waiting for.
Yeah.
Waiting.
About 30 minutes into you actually eating your meals, you do see the longhouse door creaks open, and you watch as the 3 pirate lords, as well as Violet, walk out. You see Violet immediately puts her hand behind them to wait, and she looks out for a bit, spots you all, and begins making her way towards you. The same purple-haired individual with like brown at the top and then fading into purple behind her. Sort of like second in command here at this encampment for the Elemental Warband. As she comes over to you, she goes, we'd like to have you in on this next meeting, if you'd be so kind.
Of course.
We're allowed back now. All right.
Yes, we just had some brass tacks to discuss. Follow me, please. Turns around and begins heading back towards the longhouse.
Yeah, follow.
All right. Guys follow back into the longhouse. You're greeted by the familiar sight of the table. The 2 pistols that you had seen before, as well as the long quarterstaff on the table, have now been moved over to lean against the wall. And now on top of it, you see a large map of the surrounding region. Overhead, you still begin hearing the storm in the distance north of you, as well as the cracks of thunder in the far, far, far distance.
If Violet is second in charge, who's first in charge?
Charles, man with the quarterstaff. As you do see him once again, you see the familiar sort of tousled hair of this individual, a little bit of scruff growing on him, a little bit of gray parting at the bottom part of his hair. You see him adorned in the regular leather armor and the quarterstaff in the corner as well. Both hands on the table, looking down at the map. As you come in, he says, well, yes, my lords, but we might be able to have a chance against it. It's very powerful, but I know that my weaponry can pierce it. We've tried before, and it seems to have taken damage from our weapons. As you all come in, Viper then looks up. Well, we have our soldiers here as well. We can discuss this with them as well. Charles then looks up. All right, that we do. So, Viper tells me you guys have a team name. What is it again?
The Peacekeepers.
The Peacekeepers.
Peacekeepers was... All right, looks like you got some camaraderie. I like that a lot.
Of course, you gotta make
It's good
some
to
fun out of this
keep
world.
a nice...
We're all great friends.
I've been very depressed.
All right. Okay, yeah. I understand humor. That's a good joke there.
See a robot? I understand. To declare that.
So, anyway, sorry, my head's been a bit fuzzy these past few days trying to deal with a kraken, you know. We have a few options at our hands here. I've been to the island myself. I've been able to get some rations over to them as well. But they are dwindling. I know that a few of them have already gone further into the island, and I believe cannibalism happened at one point. But that man was dealt with immediately. So we are pressed for time, my friends. Acquaintances? Acquaintances? Can I call you acquaintances?
You can call us friends.
Friends?
Whatever you want.
All right.
Don't call me late for supper.
Well, myself and your other pirate lords here were discussing some matters. Your pirate lords, and you see Bartimus, the half-orc man adorned in the very nice armor, who you've come to know as an expert rogue in his own sense, pipes up.
Yes, but we, as the pirate lords, have a way to seal these devils away. Ever it's been insubstantiated to us from our higher being, which we follow, to be given this power. However, the only stipulation is that we need all of the lords together in order to accomplish this feat. So, that is one option. However, Charles had brought up... and Charles pipes up again. Yes, I understand that Kraken is sort of impenetrable to the attacks of regular weaponry, mundane, if you will. Swords, spears, grappling hooks, arrows, anything. Seems to be unharmed by that, as well as lightning. So be careful on that aspect. Which is why I believe your pirate lords have found ways to seal it away, as they can't deal with it on their own. However, we are blessed to have our armory here, and we would allow each of you to sort of loan some of our weapons for a bit, if you believe that we would have a fighting chance in this. And at this point, King Crom, the small gnome individual in the large armor, carries them all at his side, known for having a sort of stick up his butt the whole time. He's like, well, yeah, so the possibility of us killing one is really, really good. Because if we kill one, that means sealing it away, it means it's not going to be coming back. Because we don't know how strong our bonds are going to be since the gods are dead and all. But we think it might help. But killing it would mean for sure it'll be dead, and that will give us a lot more free time as the pirate court to adorn our meeting once we all reunite with each other. And basically get down pat what we need to. And Charles pipes up. I'd like to hear any input from you guys as well. We've had our own little meeting beforehand.
This Kraken is intelligent, correct?
In my experience, I can't say. I know that it's the reason that storm out there is happening, so it has to have some degree of intelligence, right?
Do we know why it is attacking?
Crom pipes up again. I think that is because the Krakens is a bit of thing. They're basically the old goddess of nature. when she died, they were her gifts unto the world. Basically, if people at sea were messing about with nature and she didn't like it, she would stick the Krakens on them. That's why they exist. But now, since she's not here anymore, I don't think they're restrained anymore.
Well, the question for me is, where would you seal it if the other dimensions, other places are impenetrable this time?
So Viper pipes up. Oh, we don't seal it across against different planes. We seal it at the bottom of the ocean. Sort of imagine it like incredibly powerful kelp leaves grasping it down to the depths and locking it in place.
So grass is going to save us.
It's not exactly grass, but that's the best way I could have explained it to you. It's a lot more difficult than that, but nothing for you, sweetheart.
Would this creature die in the process?
Of us sealing it?
Yes, that's right.
Of us sealing it, it wouldn't die. As far as I know, they don't really need a lot of sustenance to be able to live for a while. And sealing it hasn't killed them in the past, so no.
How long would it take to seal it, or what's the process involved there?
Barnabas pipes up.
It would take us a good amount of time. Each of the pirate lords, one after the other, has to speak a certain phrase before we can seal it. And all of us, there's a whole ritual we have to take part in. We all would have to be by each other and be able to say the term one after the other in the exact order.
How close do you have to be to the Kraken in order to do that?
We have to be able to see it. That's it. No other stipulation besides that. Which ends up being pretty easy, actually, because, tentacles are everywhere. And usually over our ships.
And do all the pirate lords have to do this at the bottom of the ocean or on the surface?
Viper pipes up once again. No, darling, we'll be on the beach.
Oh, thank God.
So you said that they are immune to mundane weapons?
That is correct.
So does that mean we're getting given those fire bow things?
Violet then pipes up. You'll be loaning them. You won't be having them.
Is it only fire bows that we can get? Is that the only option?
Charles pipes up, kind of scratches the back of his head. Sorry, but that's the only stuff we make. It's actually, it's not really the fire bow. That is the enchantment. It's the ammunition it uses.
Will you at least teach all of us how to use these firebows?
Yes, Violet would train you if you'd be wishing to do it. However, there are some other things we need to discuss after you guys had asked us questions about who's going to be on which party. We'd be having 3 parties spearheading this endeavor, so
one party to run as sort of being the first line of attack, and then another party to sort of sneak you guys behind onto the beach itself.
If that's the decision you guys
that
would be
would
comfortable with
probably
going with,
the best.
sealing it away, right?
Yes.
Were there ideas you guys had for groups, or?
I personally had some ideas because beforehand you had spoken to me each about your abilities, what you can bring to the table. However, that depends all on whether we are going to try to kill the beast or if we are going to try to seal it away.
What would save the most lives? That's my question.
Viper pipes up. Well, sealing it away is going to be very... We're not going to know much about it, because sealing away before we had the powers of... We basically had some deific powers at our hands that allowed us to do so, but since the gods are dead, we're not sure how it will work anymore. So...
Or if it will.
Or if it will, yes.
Has a Kraken ever been killed in the past?
No, actually. As far as we know. I believe Anaxemnus tussled with one during his lifetime. But, didn't kill one, as far as we know.
So we're facing a creature that a god himself could not kill. Or at least did not kill.
Yes, but he was by himself. And Charles pipes up, I don't want to brag, but I am fairly powerful.
Oh, so you say. How can you prove
that's
this
some
to
big
us?
I can go outside and prove it to you if you want. Whatever you want.
I would like that as a little bit of reassurance that we are not just throwing our lives away.
Let's take this outside.
It sounds to me, though, that regardless, we might have to fight this thing. So if the ceiling doesn't work, we're going to have to fight.
Yes, and we'd be having different parties if you do choose to fight it head on, or because if we don't choose to outright kill it, we're going to be having a boarding party that's going to be keeping track of keeping the tentacles down, so that they don't really, so that they're preoccupied with. And I believe your half-orc lord over there, you see Bartimus kind of like sighs a bit and rolls his eyes.
Yep, I'm gonna be spearheading the boarding party.
And Viper pipes up. And what does that mean, Bartimus?
Means my ship's probably going to get destroyed.
But where are these
I'll do
sacrifices?
one.
That's
Sorry
what
to
we
hear
call
that.
Yeah, I just stole that one too.
Kind of figured that
He's still
actually.
another
Kind of
one.
figured.
I'd like a bigger one. Viper promised me a bigger boat.
You
He
had
promised
mentioned,
you'd buy us a ship too.
It's not about the size of the boat.
It's about the motion of the ocean.
you had mentioned that the Kraken attacks disturbances of nature.
Yes, it does.
And what have the Pirate Lords been doing?
That we don't know.
I mean,
I said I visited the island. I more so sort of fly over it and drop off packages. I don't stop on.
Concerning.
How do you fly?
Why wouldn't
Fly
you visit?
over.
I can show you outside.
One, if we were to choose to fight, could we possibly reach these pirate lords on the island and arm them and their remaining troops as another
far
force?
as- and Viper kind of hushes Charles for a bit. They're already armed. We've heard reports from them that Sergeant Crane seems to have worked his trebuchet onto the island and seems to have made the local palm trees into catapults of sorts.
Are those capable of hurting the Kraken?
I don't think so.
And
So they aren't armed with weapons that
Certainly
can
gotta be
actually
annoying
help.
though.
they're trying their best.
Certainly has to be annoying.
Yes. They do seem to be armed with things that could help very much. However, Sergeant is known for his ability to light things afire, so perhaps he has something up his sleeve for the coming fray.
How many fire loads do we have at our disposal?
Charles kind of pipes up, well, to show you the barracks, I would have you know we have more than enough for you. Violet and I and the people we've trained have been making them for about 3-4 years now, so we've plenty of ammunition for you.
And is this may be naive, but is there any way to get the pirate lords out of there without having to fight this deadly beast?
Viper pipes up. Jesper, it is the fastest thing I've ever seen move in my entire life. It moves faster than my ship. It moves faster than things that I've seen fly over Gascar. It
So-
is incredibly quick.
So why don't we try to get them out without alerting it? Would that be possible?
Yeah, if we can't outrun it, maybe we can sneak past it.
That might be a possibility, but I believe it circles the island. We could certainly try, and then if shit goes south, we can just turn on the jets and get fighting.
There is also the trouble of, now that we know the Kraken is here in this location, we might as well deal with it before it gets away and causes problems elsewhere or in the future.
I have other concern. For one, why is it staying here? Is it simply because the pirate lords are on the island and it wants to feed on them or kill them? Or does it have a territory?
We don't have that information, and Viper pipes up. I'm very curious about that as well, because I don't know what my compatriots have been up to, and why they would all four be sort of marooned on this island by themselves.
You had mentioned cannibalism. Is that between the four, or why there are only 4 left?
I believe it was just a minor issue having to deal with one of the crew members. going a bit mad. I don't think it was anything more than that. There's the 4 Pirate Lords. Some of the crew are still there. A good portion of them, however, they are a bit more gaunt and emaciated.
They're probably itching for revenge, though, I would assume.
Oh, they're probably incredibly pissed. I would assume Surgeon's group as well is terribly angry.
Has a Kraken ever escaped the ceiling before?
What do you mean?
Like, is it permanent?
The Krakens?
The ceiling.
The ceiling ritual
spell.
you do.
Oh, well, we've gotten more reports across Keita and beyond of them. So I believe whatever seals that once held them were broken. But I don't know whether that is the gods dying or an Exeminus being a dick. So
I think have they ever broken out, or any that you know of broken out of the seals that you've put on?
yeah, before the cataclysm, no. So
Interesting.
yes, we have together we possess a strong power.
What would happen if one of the pirate lords perished? Could this ritual no longer be performed, or is it passed on?
So Barnabas pipes up.
Someone would have to take their piece from them. I believe we told you about our pieces. Of 7, right? We each have one. The next person that touched it becomes the next pirate lord. Oh, it seems, I see, you're looking amongst each other. It's very easy. Imagine it falling right in the middle of a deck and someone touching it and then someone stabbing that man and taking it again. It's not a good thing when a piece goes down.
Right.
But
Fair enough.
there is an opportunity for one of us to become a pirate lord.
Jasper, you should become a pirate lord.
Jasper, that means that you're probably stuck in Keat forever.
Alright, you do not want to be a pirate. That is not for me.
Carl's gonna pipes up. Yeah, no offense. You wouldn't be a good pirate lord.
I second that.
No offense taken.
I second that.
I think you'd be a little
you'd be a terrible
too
pirate.
nice about it.
You know, I am...
Really, no offense. You did great back there in the logo, but
No,
guys,
no
let's hug
offense
it out.
taken. I'm not one for stealing and killing and other things.
Is there a way we could have a main fleet basically take the Kraken on, and we have one straggler ship that could get them and get them off? Is that a way? Is that possible?
It would make the fight tougher, but
If we just have one ship, maybe a quick one.
talking about a sloop then.
Potentially.
Small sloop to just get the pirate lords off of the
Mhm.
island and then bring them back. Well, that just might work. We would have to be in and out quickly. We'd have to be drawing the attention of the Kraken away
What we were
from
going
it.
to do anyway.
Right.
You could just try to seal it, and while that's happening, I'm sure it's trying to fight you. Then when someone else goes around.
Right. And you could use Aegis to power the sail to make it even faster. And possibly other mages.
That's a good point. Charles, I believe we saw you had a sloop on the island a ways, and Charles sort of... yeah, we had a sloop. We're kind of using that for our own travel. I would only let you borrow it if you could guarantee our passage away from the island once we finish this business, though. And Viper pipes up. Yes, we could. We could, for sure. For this, of course. We'd be incredibly overstaffed and moving very slowly with all the rest of the crew members that we have to get. But we could do that for sure. All right. Well, we have a sloop. That would work pretty well. We could get all the pirate lords on one vessel without them being wrecked asunder. Get them on a boat, and we could start the sealing process with the 3 of us on it. Yeah.
this is all under the assumption that we're trying to fight, or trying to seal it, correct?
I mean,
That'll work.
if it doesn't seal, we're going to have to fight it anyway.
Right.
So we should probably have the weapons.
We should be
Yeah.
prepared
Just
to
in
fight
case.
it anyway.
Right.
We should try to seal it. That's our best option.
I agree.
I mean, is there really any downside to trying to fight it as hard as we can up until the ceiling goes off, just in case it doesn't fail? We aren't starting from
I assume
having
that's
no
what
damage.
will be
Yes.
more.
Yeah.
I
think
think
that-
that's
that's
why we're
probably
going to have
yeah.
it anyway.
We have to draw its attention somewhere.
Also, is there any way to guarantee that it won't just be injured enough and then stop fighting and run away? Since it's faster than our ships.
I don't know if we can
And
guarantee
he
anything.
died.
We cannot
Yeah,
guarantee anything.
there are way too
I-
many unknowns.
Anything could happen.
I am deeply concerned.
Viper pipes up. I don't expect them to run away. They haven't in the past, and they don't seem like the sort of vicious, never-ending barraging creatures.
So they're either not concerned for their own lives, not intelligent enough to understand that, or not used to
prideful.
being hurt.
Right. Plus, they said with the goddess dead, they just seem to be rampaging anyway.
I am deeply concerned as to why it's attacking in the first place. If the Pirate Lords are doing something that encourages the wrath of this Kraken, then if we get them to stop, perhaps it will leave of its own accord.
I think if we go on the sloop, we can figure out what's happening on the island anyway.
Yes.
Yes.
So if we go together, we could probably work together and figure out what's out. Otherwise, we can get them off anyway. So it's a win-win.
Is there anything, I'm talking to Viper or Charles, is there anything special about this island that they're marooned on? Anything there? of importance?
Viper pipes up. Not terribly. Nothing really that I can think of off the top of my head.
I'm gonna insight that.
Alright.
First roll?
Oh, first roll the entire
Check
thing.
Oh, the
I
dice,
flipped my
the dice.
dagger. We failed.
Oh, that's true. 22.
22.
Please.
Is that a real number?
There is a bit of a stutter in her voice, as if she's not relaying every piece of information she possibly can to help.
Viper, we're all risking our lives for this. If you could be telling the whole truth, I think that'd be appreciated.
And you see as Barnabas kind of steps forward as well. You're right. We are all risking our lives for this, and some of us are legacies. I apologize, darling, but that's all I can give to you.
How far away is this island?
It's not too far. About a half-day travel. So you get there, right into the storm. It's going to be hell to get through the waters first off. The sloop will make it, though. So yeah.
Should our goal be to bring the 3 pirate lords here to the island to do the sealing ritual, or should we try to get them off of the island and then perform it? I feel like it would be a lot easier just bringing one group onto the island rather than onto the island and then back.
I would be... It's difficult. Because some of them might want to immediately get onto a vessel. I do agree being on the beachhead might be a better vantage point for us, as we'd be safer on land. But I do think we'd be a bit more of a target as well. I'm unsure. That'd be up to you, if any of you would wish to get onto the island yourselves and maybe arm some people. Personally, I don't care, and I doubt they will care either, as long as we are committing the ritual.
I would like to be on that ship to get on the island and help them.
You watch as Barnabas kind of looks over like, really?
I don't think I would be much use shooting fire bows from the spearhead.
All right. Sure.
I would rather go to the island as well to find out what is happening.
All right. So it sounds like we're in the planning of which parties are going to be going. So, my solution, if we are going to be doing the sealing process, is that we would have a boarding party to get onto the island, another party that would be taking Barnabas' ship with them and keeping the Kraken busy while we did other things from afar, and then the 2 other ships out here will be constantly pestering the giant with their weaponry and all sorts. Won't be doing any real damage, but we'll hopefully keep it off balance a bit. Does that sound good to you all?
Yes.
Yes.
Let's
I
do
don't
it.
see any other way.
Right. Well, which parties would you all like to be accustomed to? I have my own recommendations, but at the end, it'll be up to you to pick which one you want to go on. So,
Why don't you go ahead and tell us your recommendations first?
Yes.
my recommendations, well, I had thought of putting Dean back on the ships, so he'd be at a safe distance to be able to fire away with his spells. As I've heard, he's a avid spellcaster.
You must protect Dean at all costs.
He's our golden boy.
Jesper, I thought that you would be on the boarding party to keep the Kraken entertained. while the rest of the stuff happens. I believe I've heard that you're a bit of a healer yourself, able to support your allies up in the fray.
I do. I'm great at protecting my friends.
All right. I think that'd be great. Panzer, I think this goes without saying, but I think you'd be best on the ship delaying the Kraken.
It's too bad I won't really be able to do much damage, it sounds like.
We might be able to help with that. We can't really supply a lot of weapons, but Violet over here is a bit of a caster. She might be able to help you out with something.
That would be appreciated.
Ezekiel, I was thinking about you being on the beachhead, maybe getting out there, sort of helping out, keeping everything in line, make sure pandemonium doesn't erupt.
Yes, I would have to agree.
Right. Dell, I'm unsure where to put you, honestly. You seem to be pretty much fit in any situation, so whichever one you want really works for you. Aestus and Arthur, both of you, I think, would be best keeping the Kraken a bit busy.
Yeah, I want nothing more than to shoot one of those fireboats.
I think it would be better for me if I could stab it.
I mean,
Just really hard. A lot of times.
We can give you hooks, yeah?
I would appreciate that.
yeah. Would that really do anything to it, though?
It will help overall. Trust me.
Yes,
At least a little bit.
as you two seem to be and Panzer as well, you three would be best on the crew as well, because I believe you could, in a sense, maybe hold down one tentacle each by yourself, perhaps. Maybe try real hard to maybe stifle the beast.
How many tentacles are we looking at here?
Countless.
Usually they run about 8.
Oh.
From what we've seen.
That's not countless. That's countable.
I could count on both my hands.
We can count that.
That's like 2 each, right?
We'll go into, and after we discuss the party, I'll go into how the Krakens usually attack vessels and how you can prepare for that. And then finally, Alanon, I think you'd be best on the beachhead along with Ezekiel, sort of helping out people. But of course, these are only my recommendations. Whatever you guys wish to choose is up to you. I only know you from what your captain has told me, so.
I think your recommendations are very fair and very well put. Does anyone have any changes or disagreements with these?
I don't mind.
No?
I
I'd
don't
like to
disagree with
the odds.
replacement.
I'm good.
Right?
Well, I admire that you guys think that I should be safe in the back, but I really feel like that I could do a lot of good in the fray with all of you.
Well, you'll be throwing spells that way. I mean,
Right.
you're going to be hurting this Kraken more than us, probably.
You could do that at a distance.
Yeah.
I would like to be with you all while I do that. So I will either be on the beachhead or the close party.
I intend to go to the beachhead.
How much should we get to the team?
Admirable. All right, so no one else on the back vessels? That's fine.
I heard that, and I'm not gonna do that.
We don't really need anything on those. That's the safest place in this entire fray. I will have you know, if it does go south, those vessels won't be able to get back to, so it's an all-for-nothing mission.
That's another reason why I should be up front. I have ways to help people potentially get out of harm's way.
All right. All right. For those of you that have worries about going into battle, Violet here might be able to help enchant one of your weapons, if at all possible, to be able to actually hurt that Kraken a bit. If one of you three, I believe, would benefit most from that.
He does a lot of damage. He's very strong.
Oh, you're too kind.
He's pretty strong.
He's alright. I'm stronger.
I'm not gonna lie, guys. My mind is still like 50% of the fact that he can fly.
I can't fly.
What? Well, you told me you could fly. You're lying to us now.
What
I'm
the?
not lying to you. I'm able to get across the island through different means.
How?
But you said fly before.
It's sort of an acrobatic trick I do.
It's falling with
An
style.
acrobatic.
He's thrown a
Do you just jump?
You jump to another island?
Do you go from
Sort of,
tree to tree?
in a way. We can talk about it outside once I prove to you that I'm able. I will also be on the party.
Can you teach us how to do this?
I apologize. It's part of that. He motions to the staff in the corner. That's how I do it with that thing.
With his staff.
He's an airbender.
Hold on. He goes to the corner. You see him like pick up the quarterstaff and like sort of twirl around with it very well and sort of puts it behind him. This is called the Pillar of Awe. It's my quarterstaff. I helped out some dryads in a forest, and I got this short story.
That was a short story.
That's very short story to do.
Yes.
Would any of us be able to use it, or is it only yours?
You could use it, but I'd prefer it to be in my hands.
I wouldn't want your very hands on my magic items.
Well, if you fall in battle,
That's
still
bad.
keep this.
How much
So-
do you think you guys do?
Well, I'd be on the party with the group trying to help the Kraken, so I'd be going down with the ship with you. I'd be able to perhaps carry some people with me if things go down. Any other questions before I proceed to how the Kraken might be attacking the vessel?
Do we think any of your items would be of use here? The crozier or anything like that?
I mean, it's not a lot. It doesn't have a lot of range, and I think you'd have to get too close. It'll be too dangerous, I believe.
I think it would hurt us more than it.
Yeah, it would give
Well-
it the advantage in the fight.
If you get eaten by it or something like that.
If I get eaten, then that's going to die with me.
If he gets eaten, we have bigger problems.
All right. Well. So, the way we think this Kraken is going to be attacking, and I think Viper can go more in deal about that, Miss Renegade. Thank you, darling. So, they usually tend to, if there's multiple ships, latch onto all of them. The creatures are incredibly large, but you cannot fathom how long they are. You'll see the tentacles, but the creature might actually be a good 100 feet below the water's surface. So, they'll start to try to get easy pickings, maybe rip a cannon here and there, destroy some rigging there. If you sort of give them a blow that actually harms them, then they will fully come up. That is what we are trying to do. We're trying to get the Kraken up enough so that you guys can see the full brunt of it, so that full attention will be diverted on that one ship and nowhere else. So, in order to do this, the one boarding party followed by Charles, you all will be obviously distracting it. You will be peppering it with regular attacks that it will obviously not be harmed by, but pestered by. And as soon as you get more surface area to cover, you're going to belittle the hell out of it. All right? After that, the sloop crew will move in, and they will get on the vessel, and we will begin our incantation. And that's what we have for a plan.
Sounds good by me.
All right.
I assume with something like this, it's going to be very difficult to dodge its strikes without without being injured by it. So it's more about taking the hit than
Barnabas
avoiding it.
kind of pops up. Yes, it will be very difficult, however, not to sound rude to my crew, but the chances of you specifically getting picked up are very slim compared to them. So,
Fingers crossed, it's not us.
yes, of course.
But also, remember, if we dodge, it hits the ship.
But if it hits us, it hits the ship.
Actually, I'll be helping you with that. That's what we have the boarding hooks for, to try and keep the tentacles intact so it doesn't crush the ship and we have some sort of leverage against it. We want it to hit us and not the ship.
If you see it coming, take one for the
Throw
team.
your body.
Or if all possible, if you can direct it into the mast and just have the mast fall over, or anything else that isn't the main hull.
Get its tentacles to tie knots in itself, and that old cartoon stuff.
Would any of you
That
like
might just work.
Would any of you like to borrow my shield?
What is your
I hold
shield?
up my shield of my own.
I have my own shield.
No,
as
I'm
well.
good.
Didn't do much good
I
for me
really
last
don't.
time.
I don't get a lot of use out of shields.
Hit it with the shield.
Very well then.
I could. Was it just a regular shield?
Yeah.
If I don't get the magic spell put on me, if I don't get my weapon buffed on my, I'll take the shield. Thank you.
All right, so Charles,
Yeah.
what do you think that our odds of this all going to plan? We get the other pirate lords out of there, we seal the Kraken, everyone gets out of here safe, no one dies. What do you think those odds are?
0%.
You said no one dies.
I've never really dealt with anything like this before. Apology, I lost a bit of my memory a while ago. I don't really remember anything past that.
How did that happen?
I have no idea, and I'm trying to figure that out. It's kind of weird to ask a man that lost his memory how that happened.
Well, surely you remember what happened before, right?
Before I lost my memory?
Yes.
No, not at all.
Do you not know how memories work?
So you have no memories?
I forgot maybe someone knew him.
I sort of remember 3 years so far.
What's the first thing that you remember?
Between you, kind of like leans in close to you. Between you and me, kind of woke up naked in a cave.
That's
Oh,
a very
we've
sketchy.
all been there. We've all been there.
Sounds like a Saturday night.
That's Saturday night for Jasper.
He's human, isn't he?
We've all been there
Yeah.
before. Wake up naked in a cave. It's part of adventuring.
Well, yeah. Our odds for survival, honestly, I have no idea. I think our odds are really, really, really bad if the sealing process doesn't work, but I think they're very good if the sealing process does work.
So let's hope
All
the
the
process
coins
works.
Let's
So
hope the
this
ceiling
all
works.
depends
Let's
on
hope
the
the ceiling
ceiling.
works.
Yes, I believe so.
If the ceiling fails later on, then we'll hopefully be better equipped and ready to deal with it.
Or we'll be dead.
If
Yes.
the ceiling
We won't have to deal with
if
it.
the ceiling doesn't work, worst comes to worst, I'll stay behind on the wooden planks left behind, and I'll try and fight it off as much as you guys can get out of there.
Do you
You
maybe
can do
think
It is honorable.
I probably wouldn't fare too well, but
Don't kill yourself over us.
oh, I won't kill. I'd be able to get out of there.
He's got the staff.
You can just jump away.
Yes. Or however
Fine.
that works.
It'd be a lot harder to get away just on I can't really get away when there's just water. So
do you think that we should maybe make a plan so that if the ceiling doesn't work, we get out of there and try to save ourselves instead of trying to kill the beast?
I'd say just what I said. I'll motion for some people. I'll let Violet know, people on the sloop crew, if it starts going very bad, to get as many people onto the sloop they possibly can. Have the sloop go out as far as possible. I'll keep the beast busy, and you guys will have to swim to the sloop. That's the best backup plan we can get.
What's the likelihood that even if we flee and fail, presumably, that it'll pursue us?
No idea. That's why I'm hoping to give you guys some distance. If possible, I'll live on that island for a while. That's fine.
Right.
Take a
Hope that
vacation.
doesn't happen. That doesn't sound
Hope it
good.
doesn't happen either. Yeah.
That sounds
Shall
like
we-
I say we should
destination.
go and let's do this.
Random
Yeah,
island
let's
in
make
the
this happen. Let's make it.
Yeah.
All right. So those of you who want fire bows, please follow Violet. She'll bring you to the barracks. Do you still want me to prove myself to you, or
It would be
past that?
entertaining, but
I don't think you need to.
I'm pretty sure we're gonna get to see it anyways. So
Thank you. I don't really want to be a show off. So, Violet, if you will, she says, "Of course, Charles. All right, rest of you, follow me. We'll bring you to the barracks. All right?"
Mhm.
She just begins walking out the tent. Viper says, "Can I come as well? I'd be very curious as to what these items are." And Violet kind of looks at her and then looks at Charles. Would it be okay? Charles says, "Sure. As long as they're loaning them, don't steal them. I'm fine with it." All right, all of you, come with me then to the barracks. And you guys make your way out of the longhouse. Make your way through the streets, muddied sort of tracks that are this encampment of sorts, until you come to a smaller longhouse far at the far end of the encampment. As you walk in, you do start to hear the noise of where those tinkering noises were coming from. You hear several small dinks and clangs coming from inside. As the flap is pulled open in the longhouse, you see several people, about 7 total, working at benches at their own stations. You see several small parts, but looks like to be fire bows being constructed currently, as well as two of the individuals in the back with seemed to be an entire, basically a mountain on the table, a mini mountain of what looks like small balls on the table. And as they bring them over, you watch one get put down as they begin sort of chanting some arcane verbiage and concentrating on that one particular ball. And you don't really see them the entire time. You're going to hear take their eye off of it or stop what they are doing. They seem to be enchanting the bullets themselves. In the very back corner behind all the tables, however, you see a large circular closet seemingly made on the spot here, with lots of these firebows just stocked up one after the other around the entirety of it. And you see lots of them. One particular thing you notice about these, however, different from the ones you had seen previously within Homestead, is these ones seem to have, at where the trigger were like a crossbow would be, seem to have this sort of cylindrical mechanism right at the base of the trigger. And each part of the cylinder has a long stripe of a color, one being yellow, one being blue, one being red, and then another one being green.
It's four triggers.
There's like four like cylinder holes, and each one has a painted side over it of that color. As you come in, she says, well, take your pick. We only have long tubes here, so that's what you get. But honestly, they're really fun to use. You'll really enjoy using them, and hopefully you don't die.
I hope so too.
Oh, that's always dope.
So there are no like one-handed ones. There's only
Yes.
two. Oh shoot.
Alan, I was honestly going to suggest that you should use one, but I just forgot. I'm really sorry.
It's fine. That happens a lot.
Because it's one hand.
Oh no. Rested on the knob.
I feel like if you had both, you'd probably be the best to use it. But
I have some magic I can use if needed.
You can make a fake hand with magic?
I think you'd still be able to use it. You could just rest it on your...
On the ship edge. And
yeah,
yes.
Still be able to use it. Be a hell of a kickback. It'll really... Your arm will be terribly sore after you use it, but I think you could.
I could try it then.
I'll hover around.
Would there be any way to like brace or to like put it on a swivel or some kind so you could use a shield with it?
We've tried that in the past. Same thing really goes for him. It works. Not as well as when you're using two hands, but if there's a big creature right up in your face, I don't think it matters anyway, so...
True.
So, if you're on the boarding crew, honestly, it'll probably work. It'll be right up in your face anyway. It's pretty hard to miss.
Alright.
Alright. Well,
So just, I'll pick one up and look
Yeah.
at it.
Right. You pick them up. It's very, very similar in make to the ones that you had seen in Homestead, with the only difference being that cylinder, and all of them seem to be like engraved on them. Nothing magical looking, no runes or anything, but all of them just seem to be engraved.
Well, do you want to show us how to use them?
Of course, those of you that want to use them, bring with me. I'll bring you out to the range.
I'll grab one too. Just
I might as well, right? We're all here.
I've wanted to shoot one forever, so...
Yeah, let's
Okay, go
let's
shoot.
try.
Special ones.
So, you guys make your way outside. She brings you out of the longhouse, and outside of the entire large, like wooden staked wall that encompasses the entirety of the entire encampment here, brings you outside. You see a set of palm trees in the distance with targets sort of painted on them. One at the base of a tree, one at the top, and one hanging on each coconut at the top of this palm tree. She goes, well, so here's what you do. You're going to take the weapon, hold it like you would a regular hand crossbow. Little background behind these. They're each come from Ostrana. If you know anything about Quinn, that's where I picked up the schematics for them. Except Charles here is... Charles is very used... please, sir, don't... if you hold it like that, you're probably going to shoot yourself. Don't look down the tube. Don't look down the tube. It's like looking at a hand crossbow. No. All right. Please stop. That happened to one person before. I don't want another accident. We were teaching someone before, and he didn't make it into the elemental warband for sure.
With his name Kurt.
Is this
Uh,
loaded?
Hansa, careful with that thing.
So, you're going to want to hold it like this, like a regular hand crossbow. Fire it just like you would a large crossbow. Except really brace yourself, because it's going to make a big bang. And, so you see these little cylinders here as well? You're going to turn this to whichever element you want fired from the cartridge. So, red is going to be for fire. The yellow is going to be for your electricity. Don't use that against the Kraken. Green's going to be for your acid. And then blue is going to be for your cold. Each one's going to be dealing different elemental damage depending on which one you get.
Which one is the best?
Personally, I prefer the electricity, but I can't use that. The electricity seems to slow people down once it uses it. The cold also sort of stifles people, so I think the cold would be the best against the Kraken. Fire, I don't think would do much against it, and the acid, I just don't like it. Acid's good against people that are wearing armor.
So stick with the blue, the cold then.
You can pick whichever one you want. I don't care.
Yeah.
Those are just my preferences. So anyway, you're gonna peel it up like this. You're gonna aim right up there. She aims at one of the coconuts and she lets loose a shot as it goes up. You watch this goes. And you see coconut water just immediately spill out over the sand around it. And she takes it down in one hand after looking up and puts it to the side. Just shoot right like that. Just pull the trigger. That's all there is to it. Do you take a shot at
Yeah,
that?
I'm taking a shot.
Same coconut, all the same coconuts.
all the same coconuts.
I'm gonna do the fire.
What happens if you natural one? I just did.
All right, well, we're gonna
Okay, we're gonna figure this out.
Alright, what?
That's a 13. What are we at?
No proficiency, I'm assuming?
If you're like a fighter or someone that has all martial weapons, then you are proficient in it.
Let's go.
Nice.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Is this dexterity?
That's in Dex or...
Yeah,
Can I,
it'd be
can
dexterity.
I cannot strength.
You cannot strength a.
I wanted to squeeze it really hard.
Could you just take the
What?
round?
That's a 20.
20? Alright.
Oh, baby. 13.
13?
15.
15?
I didn't grab one.
Okay.
22.
Okay.
It's a
4
coconut.
with a natural.
22 as well.
Oh my god.
Hell yeah.
9. Alright, those of you who. I'm assuming all of you are aiming at a coconut?
On the same
The
one.
same
Okay.
one. The same one.
Those of you who got a 20 or above, you hit a coconut. The rest of you, they kind of just. And each of you, depending on what element you shot, you just see bursts of these elemental energies just fire through the air. You see lightning trailing behind some, fire trailing behind some, like trail of snow like trailing behind another one. And you just see them just go off into the distance. 2 of them slamming and hitting. She watches that. Well, you guys certainly reached high there. 2 of you did seem to do pretty well there. The 3 of you, yeah.
So I'm a natural.
It's beginner's luck, I suppose.
My
Yeah.
biceps
I'm
got
just-
away.
I'm just that. Just that accurate.
It's hard sometimes when you're that strong.
Yeah, hopefully
can I
that
say?
accurate the battlefield. Well, that's pretty much all you have to use. I'll show you how to reload them, and she walks you through the process. Sort of like pulling the cylinder to the side after pulling a lever on top, pulling it to the side. You see it kind of opens up into 4 separate like drum holders that seem to just hold all the pellets in there. And she places them back in, puts them in, and she shows you how it like feeds in one after the other.
So could you have all 4 loaded and then just like...
You could. It usually doesn't end well for the person wielding it. You'll get a backfire. We found that the first one fires off, but the rest of the 3 sort of have a kinetic push back. So the last 3 elements will get blasted right into your sternum.
Oh, well, not at once. Like,
Oh, not at once.
fire, twitch.
Yeah,
fire,
if you're very
twist.
quick with it. So if you do something like this, if you want to be more dexterous, she pulls it up and immediately watches. She goes bang, 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 and you watch as she's like flipping it each time, and puts it down as each one nails into a target in the tree. If you get very quick with your fingers on it, you can learn how to use it very efficiently, knowing which enemy to hit at what time with what element. Yeah.
I'm gonna try to
That is
do
impressive.
what she just did
All right.
with like
Oh
doing
god.
it quickly,
No
one
training.
after the other.
Okay. Make a sleight of hand check.
Okay. That is a 16.
16.
Yes.
Yeah. You try and do it. you're relatively good at it. However, not nearly as quick as she was with it. You can tell she's more practiced, however. But for her first time, you do pretty well. The rest of you are pretty impressed.
I'm impressed.
Did anything bad happen when Nat won or not?
It just seemed to
good.
fizzle, and then she takes the gun from you.
This one's defective.
Yeah, let me have this
That
for a
wasn't
second.
my fault.
User error.
Let me have this heavier weapon for a second, please. You watch as she like strips it, cleans it a bit, hands it back to you. Yeah, sometimes they'll do that. Shouldn't matter too much in the battlefield, so don't worry about it if it does. Just making sure everything's good with it. All right, everyone good then?
Yes.
I think so.
Is this all we need for training?
If you use the hand crossbow or any kind of crossbow before, it basically works the same way. Just a bit heavier kickback.
Fair enough.
And you're not going to have to reload because I think you're going to have plenty of ammunition out there. Because you're either going to be successful with the amount of ammunition you get, or you are going to die. So,
I'd like to try it with a shield.
Thank you.
Just to see how that would work.
all right.
And like try and like one-handing with a shield, and then trying to like brace it on like a bench or a chair or
Yeah.
something like that.
When you kind of like one-hand it with the shield, it's like incredibly wobbly, and you're not able to aim as effectively. You feel like disadvantage.
Yeah.
But when you sort of like take some time and like rest it against something while you have the shield and like hold it in one place, you have a lot better aim and trajectory.
Are they shooting just like a single pellet at a time?
Yes.
Violet, have you ever thought about using several pellets for like a wide spray?
I've been trying to. It's very difficult. I am not the. I stole these schematics for this thing.
I don't know how this works.
I only know how these ones work. I'm not the original inventor. So.
Do you know who is?
Someone that was in the Ostrana Vixian aristocracy before the Cataclysm. I'm not sure who. Someone probably in Cinder or someplace in Fort Roland.
Does the pellet look like it's just metal, basically?
It looks metal, but when you take a closer inspection at them, they do seem to like gloss over with a sort of magical sheen to them.
Could you do something similar to this with like cannons?
Oh, that would take a considerably larger amount of time. We did it once. We were able to finally enchant one ball for a cannon. But it took about a year, I think. One person had to sit there for a year. We had to feed them.
Like no breaks. Oh my god!
What
No sleeping or anything. It's incredible how he did it.
I don't believe you.
I'm dead serious here.
Inside.
Uh-oh.
10. 18.
She's bullshitting you.
I think she's bullshitting me.
Yeah. No, he took breaks.
Thank God. I was worried for that man.
We had people on rotation, actually. Someone would do it for 8 hours, another person. That's how we would do it.
It'd be nice to have a few of those.
It would. They take way too long to make, though.
It's not worth it.
So, also, I'm not really always like, I don't really like the whole range thing.
Yeah.
I got this big old greatsword here. It's not magic.
Oh, are you sure? It looks pretty magical.
I don't think it's magic.
Okay.
Is it magic?
Give me a second here, I guess.
Which great?
This is
the crystal one.
Yeah.
Oh,
The
diamond
freaking
one.
diamond
It looks
greatsword.
pretty magic.
Give me about 10 minutes here.
10 minutes.
Yeah.
Yes, you can
You can keep shooting if you want, I
Oh,
don't care.
hell yeah.
Alright, I'm gonna keep doing some shots.
Just don't
practice
don't
with it.
use all the ammunition, please.
Well, they
we-
got like
we
a
need-
mountain,
Use like
right?
rocks.
What?
Small rocks.
They're not really rocks. They're sort of refined
No. I'm saying, can we use small rocks?
for the ammunition.
Yeah.
No. You will destroy the gun.
How?
Okay.
It'll screw up the interior. That there's if you look down the. Actually, no, don't look down the barrel.
I'm already looking down the barrel. Why are the rocks in here?
Oh no. Who let these guys
You know what? Just please don't put rocks in.
All right.
It takes us a while to make those. They're very expensive.
I wouldn't want to destroy one of these.
She's gonna insight you.
What you would want to?
Wait, so I'm what is it? Oh God.
You lying?
Where's deception? Oh, it's a 19.
It's a 19? Are you lying?
Yeah.
She kind of leans over to you, Jesper. Keep an eye on him, please.
Oh no.
I will.
I take the gun and...
He's a
Nope.
troublemaker.
You know who could?
All right,
You're
I'm
not
gonna
gonna
sit
use it.
down and see if this is magical for you.
You know who
And,
could have
I
helped us
think
In return, I will not put a single
Bang.
rock in.
Thank you
I don't know the man.
very much. She
You're
kind of like plops down onto the ground, puts the diamond coated greatsword that has the platinum guard on her legs, and begins looking into it. So about 10 minutes pass, you guys just fooling around, shooting some guns at a palm tree.
We take this serious.
Dude's being guys.
This is training. This isn't fun.
Crushing some beard.
Aces. Van really would have loved these.
Oh my God, I know.
All right,
I have a
Van.
feeling.
God bless.
I have a feeling he'd be like running up and down the beach with these things. He'd be writing down. He probably would have already drawn schematics for a new one.
Who's
He probably would be like an expert
Van.
with these already.
Probably.
Like this would be like the perfect thing for him.
It would be.
If he wasn't crushed to death.
I'm pretty sure he got killed by a voice. Did he just yell at him?
No, he got crushed.
It was the
No,
giant
yeah, he
shield
used
that
his
smashed
voice.
him.
Oh right, yeah.
I wasn't there, but I was told.
And then,
Oh, that's right. For some reason I thought it was like the bellow of.
and then his
the
dead
engine.
body fell on Van.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, crushed.
Probably could have
Yes.
been saved. I don't know. Wasn't there.
That sounds like a story I need to hear.
I wasn't there. I couldn't tell you.
It sounds like a rather pitiful death.
Oh God.
To be crushed to death by a dead body.
Literally beating the dead man.
Kicking it.
You know, we all lost something that day, okay?
If only Van wasn't targeting his best friend,
It is true.
perhaps that could have gone better. A little smarter.
Hindsight's 2020. I don't
He was a brilliant man, but also not the brightest.
You know, we all could have done more.
That was very clear. Not the brightest.
I was not there.
Let's not tarnish Van's memory.
Anyway, what about that sword?
You notice she hasn't even started the incantation. She's just like looking up at you guys. Like,
Sorry.
yeah, let me get on that. She begins. About 10 minutes pass, and she eventually finishes it. She brings it back up. There is some magical quality to it. It's not really magic though. It's like it's something lingering in the sword. Is there anything unique about it that you've been able to do?
One-handed.
Oh yeah, I can make it hold it with one hand, but that's just because of the way the handle was built.
You can hold it with one hand.
Yeah,
And then use it.
and swing with it. Yeah. They're fucking guns.
Yes, you're quite large. Is there anyway, where did you get this sword from?
Really cool guy.
Really cool guy. Alright, if you don't want to disclose any information, I can't help you anymore, but there's something about the sword, it's something magical. Just cut things and find out.
You know, fucking guys, I'm really bad at not disclosing information. I'm so sorry.
Oh,
I got it from one of the zealots.
Oh my god.
Oh, no, you did
Like-
not just say that.
The zealots.
I know, I'm real bad at
They're
it.
dead now. Wasn't because of us.
Yeah, we didn't kill him, but I was given it by, well, kind of,
Them.
by them.
It kind of looks at the corpses. But
Yeah,
Kind of pulled
alright.
off the dead body.
Well,
Does she not seem to
while
be-
you're at it, could you try it with an item I have?
Sure. I'd love to.
This
Gonna-
poor woman's time.
Oh, wasting so
I'm gonna
many
hand her my
bullets.
bag of dice.
We don't
Bag
just
of
be
dice?
shooting
Yeah.
every round.
The
I have a cloak too.
Simon's
maybe-
dice.
Oh no, no.
Does anyone else want to maybe give some items to
I
Violet?
got this
You
sword.
know?
I don't think it's magic.
No.
We're now offering 50 gold apiece.
Why is my
Violet,
dad so
Violet,
angry?
Violet. Violet.
Sorry, we don't handle problems like that.
I wish you did.
We need to break.
I actually have this.
What is wrong with
I
you?
have this scroll with me, and I unroll the scroll, and it's the advertisement for a handgun bar. Does this have any like magical capability or?
Hold it up for the sun, actually, so I can get a better look.
She's gonna shoot. Yeah.
Nope, don't think it's magical.
Well, now
Probably
it's
some
the
shit
story.
advertisement.
It looks kind of holy to me.
What do you have against him?
What do I have?
Cross that one off.
Why is he laughing?
He's kind of a dick.
That's your one. You get one.
That's it. It's just kind of rude, kind of selfish, takes everything for granted. That's all I've heard about him.
We
I
should
know.
tell him the Kraken is here so we can come beat it up and take it to his
Oh,
pub.
yeah.
Is he giving back to my sword?
Probably
So
What?
it's owned by a zealot. So does that give you any more insight?
Apologies, I don't believe you.
Oh.
Well, gosh.
He's not flying.
Yeah, why would I lie about that?
One of the 6 zealots, you
Yeah.
have an item
Name it.
from them.
Yeah,
His
I
fingers
have several items from them.
Would it help if I showed you this?
We're just like bragging
What?
about like this great secret.
Pull out the bag.
Yeah, we're on a secret
Why are we
mission.
He was a leper, so his fingers fell off. It wasn't because of us, I
I
swear.
knew he was a leper.
Please don't pull the fingers out.
Oh no, this is getting
Those
very
are the
Way.
bag.
Just
I
a
don't
bag.
want to see a dead man's finger.
Ugh.
Don't stop doing this
Make
when
me
we first
sick
meet.
every time.
Right, sure, it belongs to his zealots. Naaman?
Yeah.
You haven't heard about it.
Well,
We're really bad with
Oh, it's
secrets.
holy.
I know the Xantians are... The Xantians get most of their weapons from the dwarves. It might have something dwarvish in nature about it.
I don't know any dwarves.
I would ask you to go to Petra to figure out about it, because that's where they cataloged everything, but I think that's out in space now?
Yes.
What?
It's floating out in the cosmos right now.
It's a secret dwarven city
Oh, right, yeah. I've heard.
floating off of
That's
space.
Yep.
The
Know
planet.
it. Know it. Got it.
Yes, but
It's not about secret.
the only issue is that it doesn't look entirely dwarven. There's definitely, like the crystal coating and the platinum guard, are 2 unique things. They seem more like a prize than they are like a real weapon. But if you've been using it thus far and it works, then I guess it works.
Wait, so it seems to you more like a treasure kind of thing?
Yes.
Well, remember when I was told of this, at least, he was punching people, wasn't even using a sword.
Yeah, it's because his fingers fell off, though.
That's true. He couldn't.
Oh, he was
wield
just
the
beating
sword.
them with his nubs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's literally what he was doing.
Are you serious?
Yes.
That's pretty cool, actually.
I'm pretty sure I watched him punch a hobgoblin, like, in his face.
Yeah, well, the man couldn't hold the sword, so that was his only option.
Right.
It just makes sense.
Yep.
I mean, what would you do if you were in his hands?
That's fucked, Chester.
I'm just trying to, make a comparison.
Al-Anon's right here. Come on.
I'm sorry, Alan. Don't make fun of the disabled.
Third time?
That's 3 times we brought up the missing arm. Wait for it.
We call them especially able. Alan will remember this.
You lot are very interesting.
Look,
We have to entertain ourselves.
yes.
We've
Who
heard
else
that
are you gonna
before.
find to dive head on into a Kraken fight?
Yes.
True. We have
Thank
that
you.
wish.
Love us or leave it.
I guess I love you.
We love you too.
I don't.
Oh,
wow.
no.
Doesn't change my feelings.
That's the box.
Say anything? Did the box say anything? Was she-
Is she within 5 feet of you?
Yes.
Okay.
No.
Please,
The
yes.
box doesn't click. Well then, are we all done here?
I would say.
I take one more shot and then I think we're good to go.
Just like a fire.
All right. If you would, please keep the weapons facing towards the sky and bring them back into the longhouse so as to not point them at anyone. And don't shoot anyone, please.
DM.
Alright.
Yes.
Do I have disadvantage with it?
No.
I don't? Oh. No negative?
It's a two-handed weapon.
If he's like keeping it on, like if you
If
were,
I keep it on a railing, then I'm
if you're
fine.
keeping it on a railing or on your it'll work fine. Because you're not going to be on the main ship, and there's not going to be really anything like keeping you from shooting it like easily. You're not going to have a lot to deal with. You'll be in a safe position to go and shoot it.
Okay.
If there was something up in your face, though, yeah, it would hurt.
You have an item card for him or something? Or?
For the guns,
Yeah.
they are so when you're using the guns, The bullets they fire are deal +1. It's a +1 to hit and damage, and they do an extra d6 of the damage type that you are using.
What's their base?
It's Dex.
No, like their dice. Are right.
Oh, the dice. Oh, that's a d8.
D8 plus D6.
D8 plus D6.
Yeah.
Okay. Plus that size.
Damage.
That's nice. +1. Let's go D8.
I don't know, plus
Still
1
on my
hit,
grade,
so
so
that'll
yeah.
use this.
Let's go kill the Kraken.
I'm not even.
You could use it against the Kraken. See if it works.
Probably won't, but whatever.
Maybe.
Well,
Hey, might as well test it, right?
I mean, it can't hurt anything. Possibly. Or it can't hurt something.
They can hurt a lot of things.
well. So
Hey, it's a
you guys led back into the longhouse. As you guys are coming in, you see Charles comes out as well. How did the shooting go for you all?
We don't deserve these things.
You don't deserve these things. What happened? Violet kind of goes, they have a lot of problems. The whole group has a lot of problems.
We
Cool.
deal with them with humor.
Just a
Hey, that's
blanket
cool.
stick.
Hey, me too.
And we
High
tell
five.
literally everyone we come across.
Bury our problems in humor. Yes.
Yeah, right? I wish I remember my past.
I wish I
you
didn't.
did too.
I wish I didn't.
I wish I
As
could
a
still be in my
college kid, I
city.
identify.
You gonna trade spots maybe for a while?
I don't think you want to be in the city
I
right
mean-
now.
No, I don't want to be in the city right now.
What city?
Invicta.
Where's that?
It's, Seoul.
Where's Seoul?
On a different continent.
Different
continent,
continent, like across the world.
Sorry, I don't remember a lot.
Yeah, I guess you've been spending your entire time in Keat, I assume.
Did you have to learn everything again? Like, did you know how to speak?
No.
You speak very well for someone who forgot how to speak.
You've only been speaking for 3 years and you can talk?
It kind of came naturally. Dude, I don't know. It's weird. It's very weird.
It's like riding. It's like riding a horse.
Yes. Like riding a horse.
You just remember what forget how to do it.
Yes.
Somehow I understand what you're trying to say.
I totally get it.
Despite never riding a horse. before.
Very, very common Quinny sayings.
See what's wrong with that?
Yeah.
Go ahead. Go ahead and just make a charisma check.
A charisma check?
Yeah.
All right.
Charisma check.
Sure.
Check this boy out.
That sounds
How are you doing?
Oh, I was so close to a 20. 16 total.
16. This is a weird case of amnesia, dude. It's that, like you know nature, and you've been alive for a long period of time to have a bunch of knowledge about regular going on to people's mental states, especially being an elf. You're not really sure what this is. It's really weird.
It's very odd.
Thank you for that.
So,
Are we going tomorrow? Or?
Dean, what do you make of this? You're
well,
intelligent individual.
we'd be ready to go today if you'd want to.
What time is it?
Right now, it's about like noonish.
Yeah, let's get it over with.
The sooner the better.
Yeah. For the
Pirates.
captains, yeah.
Right, yeah. Yeah, we don't know when the next, Kraken attack.
We'd be getting there around nighttime.
I don't know if we want to fight at night.
I'd love to fight at night.
I'm not a big fan of that either, honestly.
Yeah, neither.
No, I think we should do it in the day.
So come morning.
Come morning.
Yeah.
I know
we could leave in the night.
Do you know how cold that would be? Though?
Yeah.
Get there in the morning.
We found that.
It would be
Can we
very
warn
cool.
the
No,
whole
hold on.
island that we're
The
coming
battle.
somehow?
Will we be able to see in the storm regardless?
No.
See the storm?
Inside the storm, is it going to be too dark to see at all?
It's going to be very dark.
So it wouldn't matter anyway, right?
Wouldn't the
I
cover
would
of darkness
prefer the chance of
be helpful for the sloop to be able to get to shore?
That's what the pirate lords were thinking, and they wanted to get their men as soon as possible.
What?
So tonight.
Under the cover of darkness,
Might as well.
the sloop will be able to
It would be
get to shore.
Also,
to see through water anyway. It
Also,
wouldn't
from what
matter.
I've seen, I think you underestimate the amount of lightning in the
You
region.
wouldn't have a shadow.
There's a lot of it. That'll be lighting up
Shadow
the
from
night
boat.
very well for you.
Right.
Okay.
Right down
Yeah,
to the
let's just
Kraken.
go now.
I did not need to recover
Would
any
you all be ready to
spells.
go?
Yeah.
I know it's asking a
Just
lot
use
of you.
lightning as the
Probably
source of light.
senses, there's tentacles.
Could you warn the people on the island that we're coming so that they'll be ready?
I'll be able to
Somehow.
warn them, yeah.
Okay.
I'll be doing that. Well, are you all ready?
Ready
It's
when
a
you
large
are.
task we're asking after only having met for about an hour.
This is not the first
why we
time.
came
something
in.
We're
like this
adventurers.
happened.
That's what we do.
Drop off some fire
Like
to
our
them
life.
too if you can.
We
So
could
this is
eat
literally
dinner
the last
first, maybe?
Sweet.
month.
Eat some
This is
dinner.
my career.
Yeah, let's eat dinner
We just
first.
had a big a big fish.
Yeah, sure. Go get some food, and
Let's get
put this
food.
on my-
Let's
I'll
load up.
I'll gather my warband, and we'll start getting ready.
All right.
All right, I'll go tell the pirate lords. See you soon. He walks out of the longhouse. Violet immediately pipes up. All right, engineers, get your stuff packed up. We're going to be heading out here soon. You're going to be on the vessel of the Cutlass, I believe is what Miss Renegade called it. So sit back, just do what you're doing here, back there. All right. See you all out there. He watches all the people sitting at the desk and start packing up all their stuff. You see one of the guys that was in the middle of doing this thing to the bullet kind of looks up and is like, fuck, and puts it back into the pile, packs it up, and then we get heading out. Yeah.
All right.
All right. I have one more thing I'd like to do before we get out of here.
All right.
So I'm gonna go ahead and like make my way down to the docks or like wherever they're loading the ship or whatever.
Okay.
And I'm gonna take like 10 minutes and just like sit there and in quiet concentration and just kind of gather my thoughts and pray to myself and get everything ready. And I'm gonna cast Find Steed.
Okay.
And, so I'm gonna go ahead and cast it, and I'm gonna summon a giant seahorse to my service.
All right.
Is this Aquaman?
You all watch as you guys begin getting your belongings ready. Jesper walks down to the water. As he does, you begin see him sitting down and casting some spells, an unfamiliar one to you all. But as he does, you watch as slowly the water seems to churn around him, and out from it, sort of sprinkling lights, like the sun reflecting off gold at the bottom of a pond, sparkles up into the air, and out from it you see a large head of what seems to be a seahorse sort of like pop out and gaze at it, sort of in a wider sheen. Jesper sort of like pets around its.
Yeah, I'll like start wading into the water and make my way up to it, and I'll grab it by the head, kind of stroke it a little bit, and then I'm gonna try to grab onto the back of it and like hold it around the neck.
Yeah.
And command it to like dive into the water and like swim through the water with me on its back.
All right. As you do, you guys watch as the slow pet immediately turns into a hoist on top of it, and immediately this brilliant white seahorse immediately makes its way down to the water. And from what you see amongst the bright reef off of the sun's surface into clear water, you see just this seahorse sort of darting around in the reef area.
Can Jesper breathe in the water?
No.
I don't think so.
Is he drowning down there?
You're kind of just like going through the water on the seahorse. Yeah. And the rest of you get ready.
All right.
How many pellets do we get?
That's enough.
Okay. I just want to make sure.
We got plenty.
You have plenty.
Yeah.
Okay.
You'll have enough to last you the entirety of the combat, basically.
Okay. For days.
All right.
Just fire
Well,
every second fire.
You all get ready to go out. Prepare yourselves. The group that will be getting on the sloop and going towards the beachhead, you begin to make your way towards the sloop. And the rest of you that are going to be boarding Barnabas' ship and begin boarding. Barnabas pipes up.
Well, fucking hate fighting these things.
Don't blame you.
Well, here we go.
Yeah.
Guess I should give an inspirational speech to the crew or something.
Be my guest.
Kind of like turns around. The rest of the crew's kind of looking up at him. Somewhat a face of fear, somewhat a face of... some of them filled with zeal, fear. There's a lot of conflicting emotions amongst them. Kind of stands up.
Crew, I'm not the best at giving speeches here, but try my damnedest. We're heading into a fray. A lot of you won't be coming back alive. That's the truth of it. But life's kind of shit right now, and we're trying to bring freedom to people, so think of this. Think of what you're doing as making those loved ones close to you, the Loga, Kabulongon, Teletolo, and even Tuelon. Any of these places, you're making them safe by doing what you're doing today. I know it's not the most inspiring thing, but I'll be fighting with you till the bitter end, alright? If any of you are injured, we'll be bringing you back. If any of you die, we'll notify those closest of kin. What you're doing is perhaps the most admirable feat I could ever ask of you. And I'm proud to call you my crew. Even prouder to be your captain. Well, the rest of the crew kind of solemnly all nods ahead. You hear one man at first go, "Here!" And the rest of them go, "Here!" And everyone sort of cheers up for him. Getting out of the vessel. He's sort of gives like a humble bow for a bit. Well, I feel a lot better now. Let's seal up the Kraken.
See this fucking Kraken.
Let's do it.
Right.
And you guys begin sailing out. So,
Who's on? Are we on Barnabas' ship?
So, on Barnabas' vessel is Aestus, Arthur, Panzer, and Jesper.
Nice.
And then the other
Andy.
four... Oh yeah, and you're on that too.
It's all
And
on
then
it.
the rest of you three are on the beachhead and are going to be helping out.
What?
Is Aegis on ship? He's probably
No, Aegis... the rest of the first mates are staying back on ships. Aegeus and the Pyromancer will be on the back of the ship. You'll be notified on the back of the ship, providing sort of fire from behind. As you're going onto the main ship, Aegis kind of calls out, "Dean, are you getting on the right ship?"
I should be asking you that question.
Ooh!
Got him.
Do you have any? Have you copied those spells into the spell book that I gave you?
Not all of them.
Do you have any of those fine inks left over? I can give you 50 gold pieces for it. Maybe. Just maybe one or two of the spells that you.
Tell you what, you come back alive? Sure, we can make that happen.
Thank you, Aegis.
No problem.
Good luck. Best of luck.
Better luck to you. I don't know why you're doing that, but
You know what I can do. You know what I can do.
that's fair. I can't do that, so I'm staying back. See our firebolts in the distance.
Yes.
You guys board your vessels and you're heading out. I think now we're going to be taking a bit of like a break for us before we get into the next part of the game. Everyone can like stretch out a bit and stuff. So we'll call it like 30 minutes. Some maybe less than that, like 10ish, 15.
30 minutes. You got 15 seconds.
3 hours.
Let's go.
3 minutes and we're back.
Take a bit of a break here. We'll get right back into it then after that, though.
And death.
Thanks for tuning in, guys.
And welcome back to Creator Chronicles Fracture, brought to you by BTV D&D. We're back after our break. Everyone's well rested, and we're ready for the Kraken fight ahead of us, I believe. All right. So, Peacekeepers, you find yourself on your boat, making your way towards the storm and impending danger and perhaps doom. Hopefully not doom. You guys begin sailing your way towards the distant island. The sound of storm, the cacophony of thunder filling the air around you. As you do, you see the ocean spray even larger as the waves you come across on these 4 vessels just crash amongst your boards. The crew is working double time in order to keep things in check during this voyage. As you keep on continuing, the storm grows more fierce and louder with every single wave that you come across. Until eventually, farther in the distance, you do see what seems to be small outcroppings of torches laid along a distant island, only makeable from the starlight and the torches around it. As you get closer, those of you on the sloop with Violet in front of you say, "All right, Hope you all ready. If I'm being honest, I'm scared shitless. But we'll do our job, and hopefully your friends will do theirs. And we'll all get out of this, all right? And then for those of you on Barnabas's ship, having great difficulty with this merchant vessel going through the waters, crashing against the wave, the crew hoisting and heaving at ropes and pulleys throughout the entire ship. Barnabas stands at the helm, turning the wheel over and over again, trying to keep it steady and bracing for impact. The spray of salt water just spraying over him and you all as well, as even more lightning, and now at this point the wind is turbulent throughout the entirety of this voyage. Eventually you continue farther and further until finally, in front of the Barnabas ship, a large crack of lightning crashes right in front of the ship. And with that split second of all of you being blinded by the light periodically, you all reach your hands up in order to help hinder the blinding. You all begin hearing creaking wood underneath Barnabas's vessel. And slowly, you start to hear everyone sort of grow silent for a bit. The crew stops with the pulleys and stops moving the vessel. And there's a moment of pause while the creaking gets louder and louder. At that point, you hear Barnabas softly speak to his crew.
All right, gentlemen. You know what you have to do. We're stalling for time, all right? After this, I'll be teleported over to the island. So do your best, gentlemen.
With that, you begin seeing the first inkling of danger. Tiny protrusions of what seem to be suckers on the edges of the boat, one tiny one after another, that slowly give way into these large tentacles that just begin to slowly make their way above the entirety of the ship. As they do, you watch as everyone begins grabbing onto their boarding clutches and their weapons as well. A great intensity filling the air. A real static and a metaphorical one. You hear Barnabas slowly go,
Steady, steady.
and as the tentacles begin to sort of wrap around and start to come in closer towards the ship, you hear the entirety, almost like a toy ship in your hand, being crushed in a bit. You hear great groans coming from the ship's bellows. As they get in closer, you hear Barnabas go, Now! I would like you all to roll initiative.
Oh, yeah. Combat prowess.
Alright. Combat prowess.
Oh, juicy. The duality of man.
Two nat ones.
Alright.
Duality of man.
The duality of man.
Why are you on that?
We'll start from the top. 25 to
Duality
20.
of man.
23.
23.
22.
21.
22.
Jesus, guys.
Alright. So
So
we have Charles at the top with the 24, and then a 23,
Ezekiel got the 23.
Soft
Alright.
specs, dude.
then a 22 from Jesper,
Panther.
Twin.
You want to go first?
Oh.
Panther will go first.
Pandora.
Panzer,
Then.
and then Alan on. Alright, 25 to 20, going once, going twice. Alright, 20 to 15,
19.
19,
15.
okay, so Arthur, and then Aestus.
Yeah.
Anyone else on 20 to 15? Alright. Alright, 15 to 10. Alright, are you the last one?
7.
Alright. 10, what did you get? 1. Alright, so then we have Dell, and then we have Dean. Alright, so I ran this with a few other people before. We'll be doing sort of a cinematic combat here. So, pretty much, don't think of like the basis rules as your constraints for this combat. Think of any way that you can help contribute towards this fray in order to further your own ends. So you can just go regularly, try hitting stuff, but you can try. You're armed with boarding clutches. If you're on the boarding crew, you can attempt to hoist and pull down Kraken legs, or tentacles, rather. And the rest of you can help as needed.
I got a captain.
How big did these tentacles seem to be? Like, wide?
Probably it'll probably take 2 people with boarding clutches to pull one down.
So like, could you like wrap your arms around one, or is it way bigger?
You could wrap your arms around one, but you wouldn't be able to touch your fingers together.
Okay.
Can we clarify who's where?
Yes. So, if you're on the boarding team, raise your hand.
No.
All right. So that's the boarding team.
So, I thought
People are.
You're the beachhead team.
You're the beach.
You're the boarding.
right. I thought that's what boarding was.
Yes. No, we're not boarding
No.
anything.
No, you're the beach.
You're the beach heads.
Boarding party is one that's distracting people.
The boarding team is boarding the Kraken.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
Getting on the Kraken?
Yeah, that's
Whoa,
you.
what?
That's
You
the
signed
beach-
up for this,
That's
bad
the
boy.
beach boys. And then
Did you
as
as
well.
And then
Okay.
And then you 3 are on the beachhead.
Okay.
Yeah.
You
All right.
Just clarification.
beachhead and
Yeah,
boarding.
Before
They-
we were like,
They're both bees.
Hey, what are we?
That confuses our brains.
Yeah. Reaching and beachhead. All right. So, at the top of the round, he only has +5 to his initiative though. So, the top of the round is Charles. Charles is going to do the one thing he does, and he's going to go ahead and slap at the Kraken. All right, all hit. Charles goes ahead.
Yeah, right.
All right. It's a 10. It's another 10. Charles deals 44 points of damage to the Kraken.
Alright, buddy.
As you watch as Charles takes his quarterstaff and just starts whacking into the Kraken, you see with each step, you watch as his quarterstaff seems to grow in length with each one, slamming and hitting the Kraken tentacles in the middle as he's standing in the middle of the ship. And as they reach out and just smack into the Kraken, smack. And he's like, all right, boys, let's get this done. All right, next up, Ezekiel.
Yeah, I'm gonna use my fancy new fire bow and fire off 2 shots.
All right. You watch as your sloop is slowly approaching the beachhead. You feel like you're going to be getting there very soon.
First one's an 11.
First one's an 11. That misses. Is it
14.
14? Also misses.
oh,
As they both... They kind of like go into the darkness. You see the only thing giving you a lighting in this region, the lightning strikes that are coming and striking in the distance. All right. Is that your turn?
Yeah.
All right. At the end of that turn, Jesper, you're up.
So, I will take a step forward, and I'll step in between Aestus and in between Arthur.
All right.
I'll put a hand on each of their shoulders and say, "This is it. This is what we came here for." And I'm going to cast Aid on both of them.
Let's go.
All right.
So we grow both in spirit and in strength as we kind of step forward and get ready to make our strikes against this creature.
All right.
What do they do? Tackle.
So you get +5.
Plus
Your
5 maximum hit points.
points.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's fine.
So it's those 2 and then myself. 'Cause it's 3 jumps.
You got it, man. So you're filled with this holy vigor in your bodies, and you feel ready to go to the task ahead. All right, is that your turn, Jesper?
That's my turn.
All right. At the end of your turn, Panzer, you're up.
I'd like to just say first to Violet, Violet, try to use your magic to make his great sword.
Or Violet's on the...
Oh, he's on the other ship? Never
Yes.
mind.
You're yelling across the sea.
I should have said this
She
before.
would have cast it on your weapon beforehand.
Well, did you? Okay, is it on my weapon?
Yes.
Okay, well then.
Because you're the one that asked.
Okay, then I will use my great sword. I guess I'm throwing the shield to the side or putting it on my back.
Okay.
Because that was only if I didn't have a great sword. Is there a tentacle?
Yes, right now you watch as the tentacles are wrapping over the ship, trying to reach out at any crew members. You see some of the other crew members readying their boarding clutches.
I'm gonna go up to, charge forward towards the tentacle and try to cut it off as close, far down as I can. Try to slice it in half.
All right, go ahead and make
This
an
is
attack
with
roll.
Gregor the great sword.
Yeah, go ahead.
What does her thing do? Does it just make it deal magic?
Yeah, it's a +1 weapon to attack and
Okay.
damage now. She casts magic weapon on you.
23 to hit.
23, that'll hit.
Okay.
Go ahead
I'm
and roll
going
damage.
to do harmful heaviness, and can I have raged? Or
We'll say you would have raged, yeah.
I wanted to, I always forget the rage.
So as there's a single blue mechanical orb in your head
red.
turns red.
What? Oh yeah. Oh. The red ring of death. 3, 6,
14 slashing damage.
14 slashing damage?
No, 15.
15. As you watch as it cleans in, you watch as it gets a real good hunk in there. You get about half of one sucker in, and it's very deep in there, and you feel it just wriggle immediately as the whole tentacle wriggles. As it does, watch as it sporadically weeks across and misses you, but hits a crew member and seems to just grip it in the tentacle and pull it up.
Oh, no. Sorry.
It's now kind of like dangling there. You seem like stabbing at him with the boarding clutch. Is that the end of your turn?
That's all.
All right. Your Panzer, Alan, you're up.
I'm gonna fire 2 shots at the tentacle that Charles was attacking.
All right.
The first one I'll be with the cold one.
Okay.
It's a natural 1.
As you're kind of up against the sloop, you ready the rifle at your side, and as soon as you're about to fire, a loud crash of lightning strikes in front of you. You kind of get blinded for a second and dazed as it goes off into a distance, unsure if it hits. You get ready to fire your second attack.
Try the acid one for the second one. That's an 11.
11. I kind of you're firing far into the darkness, and you're unsure whether or not it hits or not. All right. Is that your turn?
Yep.
All right. At the end of your turn, you watch as the crew member on board, as well as the sloop, finally makes its way crashing onto the beachhead. As soon as you make your way onto the beachhead, you immediately see dozens and dozens of what crew members seem to be, as well as 4 separate individuals there. Although you can't tell out exact details, you see 4 individuals immediately running towards you. The rest of the crewmen seem to be readying some stuff on the beachhead. That's what you can see right now. As for the crew on the boarding crew, they are going to immediately try and pull down some tentacles for you.
Come on, crew.
Actual 1. 6. You watch as they all try and pull down. One crew does seem to get one tentacle lowered down onto the ground and sort of kept up in space so as to not crush it but keep it locked in place, but they seem to be really struggling. The other 3 try and get it, and one of the crews try and grab on with the boarding clutch as the Kraken just takes it, and the whole tentacle rips the boarding clutches out of it and flings them into the ocean. As the crew are kind of sitting there, they just immediately reactively pull out their long swords, trying to do the best they can. All right, that's their turn. Arthur, you're up.
I would like to rage.
Oh yeah.
And there's how many tentacles are around?
Right now there are 4 around the ship.
Okay, which one is seems like the most either most dangerous or one that's been untouched?
Right now, the one that's been untouched is the one that the boarding crew has gotten down, and also the other 2 on the one side. The one that seems the most untouched and probably the most dangerous is the one that the boarding crew had just lost their clutches to.
I'm gonna go with that one.
All right.
I'm going to get up and I'm going to swing with my thing. It's like the hook they gave me, right?
Yes, you have a boarding clutch.
It's really long.
It's very long, yeah.
Sweet. And I'm going to reckless attack.
All right.
Natural 19. And I'll take the natural 19.
All right.
Most natural. 26 to attack.
26 to hit. That hits. As the rest of the crew gets ready, and you see immediately weakness in this crew, you immediately rush over with your boarding clutch, using the raw strength at your power. A flash of lightning strikes, and you see a silhouette of a ghost behind you. As you take your boarding clutch and sink it into the tentacle, and by yourself begin pulling the tentacle down, straining your muscles ever so tightly.
I'm going to attack again by trying to... Basically, as I'm pulling it down, I'm going to basically try to stab into it and down into the deck.
All right, go ahead.
Reckless attack again. Natural 20!
Yes.
Oh, no!
All right. So you take your boarding clutch, and as soon as you do, how do you want to pin it down?
I'm going to basically pull it down, and I'm going to jump up, and just with my whole weight, slam down deep into this thing, drive it into the boat.
All right, so as you do that, the rest of the crew kind of looks in awe as you by yourself, your muscles rippling. You're about to give in by trying to pull it down to the ground, but you feel a soft embrace on your left shoulder as immediately that embrace turns into raging fury and another strike of lightning and a ghostly silhouette as you push it straight down into the deck, pinning this large tentacle, squirming, trying to get out of your raw power. As you hold it down, the rest of the crew immediately begins coming over and trying to stab into the Kraken. Nice work. Alright, is that your turn?
It is.
Aestus.
Alright, Zack is with a shot. I'm gonna go with the greatsword first. I'm gonna try to bring my big diamond greatsword and try to take 2 swings at the one who just pinned.
Alright, you have advantage.
Alright. Okay, that's a 16.
16, that will miss. So as you go and swing and hit it,
7 and a
it
9.
gets into it, but you hit a raw hide of it, but it's still squirming on the ground.
Alright, second swing.
Alright,
That will probably work. That will definitely work. 23.
that'll hit. Alright, go ahead and roll damage. As you crack, try and hit it once, but immediately you watch as Arthur kind of paves the way for you and opens up a wound for you. And the same wound that he's stabbing into, you take Naaman's sword and stab it right into the wound that he's opening up.
That's 11 points of slashing damage.
11 points of slashing damage.
Does it seem like it hurts?
As you stab it in and squirm it around, you see blood start to spurt out from where the diamond sword is, and it seems to take effect.
Interesting.
Alright, is that your turn?
Yeah, I want to try to dig it right in the same spot as it looks, so I'm pinning it further into the ground.
Alright, yeah, so you just get in there, and you start to see the tentacle seems to be splitting in half, and you seem to be about to saw off practically this entire part of the tentacle. Alright, at the end of your turn, it is now the Kraken's turn.
Oh no.
Before the end of the Kraken's turn, it is going to use its legendary action
Oh no.
to cause a lightning storm. So,
Is this allowed?
Aestus, Arthur, and Panzer. All of 3 of you in your head, you hear this low.
You will pay for that.
And immediately all of you see a flash above you, and a streak of lightning comes crashing down on you. I need all 3 of you to give me a dexterity saving throw.
Oh no.
Oh god, no, I'm not.
Oh
But I can see this, right? So I have
Yes, you have advantage.
no. Danger sense.
That's a natural 1. That's a natural 17. So I will take that. So
Alright, what's your total?
17.
17?
I don't have any dice.
9.
9.
11.
11. All 3 of you fail.
Oh no.
What?
So,
What?
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Real bad.
You really hate to see it.
That was very bad.
I'm being
Each
honest.
of you takes 10 points of lightning damage, halve the 5 if you didn't. You, when you fail, immediately, as it comes streaking down, you're not able to get out of the way for a second. However, as it does, you watch as the lightning kind of gets sucked into the amulet, and you feel a static charge in your chest for a second before suddenly you see it streak out, and a bolt of lightning, it arcs kind of like a chain and strikes into the water beneath it towards the Kraken. You have 1 use of it gone. Alright. So,
you said 10?
10.
10 damage.
That was the handle.
And everyone failed.
Yes. And it takes your reaction.
Yep.
Just like
What
what
does
happened
it
now?
It takes your reaction, so just so you know. Alright. It's now the Kraken's turn, however. The Kraken is going to attack the crew. So the Kraken is going to make 1 attack. He's going to test the waters first and make 1 attack against. That misses.
What?
Oh no, that hits. Yeah.
Does he have disadvantage because I hit him?
He's attacking with the other. That's a good point. Yeah,
Ancestral Garden, baby.
still hits.
He's a Kraken.
You watch as the Kraken's first tentacle comes slamming into the side. You watch as Charles is like, shit, as it comes slams into the side and kind of grapples up Charles in the air.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Charles takes.
Charles at all costs.
This side? Charles takes.
If it's an attack, resistance as well.
Duly noted. Charles takes 19 points of bludgeoning damage, and then halved to 10 or 9 rather, or 9.
Support there.
As Charles is up in the sky, he goes, someone help me get out of here, please. That's going to be the Kraken's first attack. The second 2 attacks are going to go against the entirety of the crew. You watch as the first tentacle sweep goes towards the top deck of the ship, where you see Barnabas is currently trying to stab in. As you guys look behind, you start hearing creaking from behind. You see 2 more tentacles starting to rise up from behind the ship. At this point, you see Barnabas trying to come up. As one swoop comes over, you see Barnabas kind of like dives over the tentacle, rolls, and like gets down on a 3-point landing. As he watches like the rest of his crew though get swept up into one tentacle and pulled up, and he's like tosses 2 daggers up at the Kraken. As seawater is just spraying over you now, and then you see the rain as well as coming down on you as the full storm is in front of you. And then you see at the other front of the ship, a few more tentacles come up and scoop up 2 more crew member in the tentacles, and you now see a total of 6 crew members in total in all the tentacles above you, Charles not included. And that will be the Kraken's turn. Del, you're up.
I am going to try to, as a bonus action, pull a longbow in the rain.
Alright. So as the water is falling from behind you, you immediately pull all that rainwater energy into your hand, and it slowly begins to form, like pouring liquid into a glass, into this bow that you immediately form in your hand.
And then I'm going to, as an action, Call of the Wild to summon 3 giant spiders. And
Alright.
tell all 3 of them to, if the ship gets damaged, repair it with their wits.
Alright.
Natural inspiration.
So they immediately take that and start heading over. Yeah?
That's my turn.
Alright. Awesome. Okay. At the end of that, we're back to the top of the round of initiative. It's Charles' turn. Charles is going to try and... Yeah. Oh, that's right. Sorry. Dean, you're up. My bad. You're good.
Natural ones don't count.
Okay.
Sorry.
Well, I'm gonna make this easy on you. Dean is going to cast Mage Armor on himself.
Alright.
Did you not do it? No.
I mean, could I have?
Yeah. Dean's smart enough
Smart enough. Okay.
at this point to have done
So we have 2 tentacles. So 1 crew member has a tentacle, like sort of grasped.
that. Right now there are 6 tentacles you can see. There's 2 in the back that are currently grappling a total of 3 crew members. There's 1 on the ground that's currently almost about to be split in half by these 2. There is 1 holding Charles up, and then 2 more. 1 that's like still on top of the ship, and another 1 holding 1 crew member up. Okay.
I'm gonna direct towards the one that they have on the ship, and I'm going to like ray of frost it to make sure that like try to like get in the in like the creases, make sure that like it can't move like as easily.
All right. Yeah. Got it.
So do I have advantage on this attack?
Yeah. I'd say you have advantage. It's pinned down. It's basically restrained.
Yeah, basically. That works. Yeah. That also doesn't. No, I don't need it. I got a
So
12.
you're not used to all this happening at once. There's a storm spraying, and you're on a ship that is currently rocking with both the ocean's current and the immensity of this beast that you still don't see the full length of.
My mind is just set on like, did I cast Mage Armor on myself?
Yeah. Like, I don't remember. And in that haste, you just cast it, and it just splatters to the ground. You see a bit of frost starting to slick beneath your feet.
No.
Where the
fuck did this come from?
I'm sorry.
Is that the end of your turn?
Yes, it is.
All right.
Cold crap.
Back to the top. Charles' turn. Charles is going to try and break free of the grapple. Yeah, he's going to try and break free of the grapple. It's an 18 naturally. So he kind of just breaks free and... Alright. He readies his weapon then. That's going to be his turn. Alright. For that, Ezekiel, you're up.
Okay, so we're now, the boat has now made it to
The beach.
the island. What do we see other than the 4 people that tells us?
So, besides the 4 people, you do see hurried-looking individuals from behind them, hurriedly gathering what look like supplies, barrels, and about to seemingly get ready to leave.
Okay.
The other 4 individuals that are rushing towards you immediately, you start to get a clearer view of them. However, it's still very murky. You can make out what seems to be a human, another human-looking individual, one that seems to be a wood elf female making her way towards you, and then another human.
Okay. Alright, I'm going to use my superhuman speed to dash to them, and when I get Violet is with us, right?
Yes.
So, let's see who's in charge. Violet's back on the boat. I'm gonna go help the crew move their stuff.
All right.
So then I'm gonna continue using that, and on the way, just fire like one more shot.
All right.
And then just try to haul barrels and stuff back. Whatever
Go ahead.
he's doing. The shot. It's at 14.
14. As you're not really focusing on this task,
Right.
but you're going towards the crew. You do see passing by you. You see an old man dressed in black military garbs, several medals adorning his chest, a great big beard and a large cigar in his mouth, bald head. Right next to him, you do see what seems to be a gaunt, white-skinned individual with black hair coming from behind them, a single dotted tattoo coming from their mouth all the way down, and adorned in blood-red robes with a single black stripe going through the middle. Next to them, you see a wood elf-looking individual. This woman seems hair frizzled to hell, with regular leather armor on her. Nothing else besides that. And the last human you see is adorned in what seem to be weird skins you've never seen before, dressed in whites and such. Similar skins and armor that you have seen when you were in Hogs Hill, when the people that came into Hogs Hill with Arthur were wearing. As you pass them, you go towards the crew, and immediately you see stuff being packed up, as well as what seem to be barrels being brought over to a set of palm trees that you see have been bent all the way back and seem to have sort of a sling in them. You see barrels starting to be loaded onto that.
Okay. Are they also loading onto the sling at all?
You see other crates being brought that way.
Okay,
so-
I'll probably do that.
Alright.
Because I don't think the temperature's going to be
Alright. Got it. Alright. Is that your turn?
Yep.
Alright. At the end of your turn, Jesper, you're up.
So, as the two warriors next to me have the tentacle pinned down,
Yes.
I'm going to draw my rapier, and as I see where it's kind of being split open and cracked apart, I'm going to do one thrust right into it and try to sever it.
Alright, go ahead.
So as I... Is it with advantage?
Yes.
So as I thrust forward with my rapier, that's a 17 to hit.
That just misses. As you get in, you still hit like this tough chitin on the outside. It's definitely not a fleshy individual.
Alright. Not dissuaded, I'm going to attack again in the same motion, just harder with more fury this time.
Alright.
I'm angry this time.
Now you made me angry. That's a 22 to hit.
That'll hit.
Okay. And as it does, it pierces it for 4 points of damage.
4 points of damage. That's a little over what you needed. As you go and skewer through the Kraken, you watch as a hole goes all the way through finally, and you just tear right through the rest of the flesh as you see this whole hunking piece of tentacle just right off of the Kraken. You see it begins to just sort of squirm in its last seconds on the deck before falling limp, and you watch as the remainder of it just wreaks havoc in the air before finally just coming down into the waters, and all of you at this point on the boat immediately hear in your heads,
Now you've really made me angry.
R.I.P. Famous last words.
Alright, is that your turn?
They're not.
Yeah, that'll be my turn.
Alright. Alright. Panzer, you're up.
Do I feel like I'm able to make like am I making good progress in cutting through this tentacle that I'm attacking? Or do I feel like it's not really having that big of a...
You feel you could after a bit maybe. It'll take you a bit by yourself, but definitely the damage you do does seem to help.
Since I see that they're like they just finished off tentacle, I'll be like, you should probably try to save some of the crew. I'll keep this occupied. Does it seem like it's focusing?
It does seem so, yeah.
Good.
This is the one that is currently just on the deck and
I'm gonna
slithering
swing
about.
my one thing. Please don't shoot. No, I don't have that. No. I think it's a miss. It's 13.
13. As you, it kind of slams into the hide. However, you miss the last bit, and the whole tentacle seems to just like push you aside for a bit. But you hold fast as it tries to push you over. You just shake it off and get your great sword ready for the next attack. After Panzer, Alanon, you're up.
Are people on our ship still attacking Kraken, or are we trying to be stealthy?
You notice there's a few of them, but they seem to be more like pot shots. But everyone seems to be on your sloop, focusing on trying to get over towards the rest of the regular crew members and pull everything on board that they can and get stuff ready. You do notice the rest of the pirate lords have immediately just booked it off of the ship and are currently meeting on the beach with the other ones.
Alright, I'm just going to use my entire turn to go over to the crew and start helping load and get anything that's like essential, like food or something.
As you do, you pass by Viper and them, and you see Viper talking, and immediately she just grabs you right before you go by, and she says, Alanon, I apologize, you're not going to help so much with the cargo, we need you over by those palm trees. And you watch as the old man with the beard looks over, and as you get a better look at him, you see he's this long scar down his eye, and what looks to be the last eye, with like a white cataract in it, and his left eye, as he looks over, and he takes a hit of his cigar for a bit, pulls it down, and he goes, get over there and start cutting things, boy. All right.
If it'll help, sure.
And you see he tosses his cigar into a bowl on the ground. And you make your way over to the tree line.
Palm tree trebuchets.
All right. Yeah, you head on over there. All right. As you do, you see barrels being lit. Actually, you see they have what seem to be like dish rags in the ends of them, and that are about to be lit. And you see people going fire, and you see someone taking a short sword and cutting at the string by the palm trees, and you see them launching out into the distance as this fire cave starts going towards the Kraken. All right. So you go over and start helping?
Yeah, I'll help with whatever, with loading and firing.
All right. How are you helping?
So I can't do too much myself besides cut it, so I just like help direct and aim and try to like give orders and try to organize things if no one's doing that.
All right. Yeah. Okay. So give me a charisma check.
Hey, 19.
19. As you start leading people over, giving sort of an organization to this pandemonium that is this, you start to notice none of these are able to be rearmed as they are just palm trees, and you see they just have loads of them along the entirety. They've probably been doing this for a while. And you start going over, you start giving orders to everyone, sort of ushering people around. You don't see any other order, but you see as they seem to pick up, people begin listening to your calls, and the overall organization seems to speed up the tempo at the amount that they're going to be getting over there. Cool. All right. So nice work. Is that your turn?
Yeah.
All right. Now it is the crew's turn. So the rest of the crew on your ship, there's only 2 that are able right now. One of them does, as Panzer, as you are working on one, you see some of the crew members come down and immediately hook into the one tentacle and pull it down a bit for you. I'm like, alright, we got this one for you, mate!
Is this the one I'm working on?
Yeah.
Okay.
See some of the remaining crew eventually surprisingly get over there and pull one down.
Thanks for your help.
Okay, the other crew, with your help, they're going to get another one of the bombs off on the Kraken. One hit, one miss, one hit. Alright. So, you watch as you begin ushering off, you see 3 volleys immediately go off of this firing barrel as it goes, and as you guys are on the vessel, you watch as one of these barrels just goes into the water, and you see immediately it's doused. You're kind of confused by it, but as another lightning strikes, you see another one come down and slam into the Kraken. As it does, you watch as this black ichor immediately explodes over it as it slowly catches fire in an eruption on top of the Kraken. As in your minds you hear Kraken takes 27 points of fire damage. Alright. As you watch these basically catapulted fire barrels make way onto the Kraken and erupt in flames on the pieces of tentacle that are up. One of the pieces of tentacle that are writhing up, holding 2 crew members, suddenly bursts into flames and begins to wither for a bit, and then it immediately, reactively, the Kraken uses its legendary action and just shucks 2 of these crew members. about farther off into the distance as that fire immediately just comes into the water beneath it. All the while you feel the entire ship creaking more and more, as it feels like the ship is almost being pulled down as something is making its way up. All right.
How many tentacles are actually like pulling the ship down?
Right now, there is one just went down and there were 6. So right now there's 5
that are actually trying to pull the ship down.
Yes. All right. So that'd be then. Arthur, you're up.
Okay, so does the tentacle still have Charles?
No, Charles is now on the wall.
Okay, so basically there's like a couple free tentacles.
Yes. Right now there's 2 still in the back that Bartimus seems to be trying to deal with, as most of his crew got picked up there.
Oh.
You see one that has been brought down to the ground that Panzer is in front of right now. One of them just went under, one of them's gone, and then the other 2 are holding people.
I'll try to yank down one of them that has the crew.
Alright.
So I'm gonna run over and I'm going to reckless attack.
Alright.
Just trying to latch on
Just
and
trying to
yank
hook it in.
down. Yeah, that's gonna be 23.
That'll hit as you just hook in the thing and you get it grappled now. Alright.
And then after I grapple it, I'm going to try to yank it back down.
Alright.
Yeah.
Alright. Make a strength check, I'd say.
Well, it's going to be 21.
21, and same thing before, just this raw, with each thunderbolt, just the ghostly image, and you all actually see it very briefly here. It just helps you pull down, and you are not even in control of yourself right now, as its sheer power is moving through you, as it forces it down into the ground. Yeah, is that your turn? Is that your turn, Arthur?
Yes.
Alright. You watch as the tentacle that's grabbing it, the crew members are now on the ground, but they still seem to be grappled by it, and they're like, oh, thanks, man!
I'll go
just stabbing into it some more. Alright, as you see, like, they're trying to, like, pry themselves out of it. Alright. That'll be your turn. Asus, you're up.
Alright, this is becoming a system at this point. I just pulled him down again. I'm gonna come over and start slashing the one that just pulled down.
Alright, go ahead.
Is it restrained now? Or?
Yes.
Okay. Oh my god. 14 total. I was 7 and a 4.
Yeah, 14, it misses.
Big.
One more try.
Oh my god.
Oh,
I rolled a 14.
no.
21.
21, that hits. As you just do the same thing, you come over and just cut into it, stabbing it right down into the beast.
Yeah. That's better. 12 points of slashing damage.
12 points of slashing damage. Nice. As you do the same thing, you start making a big wedge in it, giving room for other people to come and maybe cut this one off as well. It certainly starts to feel that. Alright. Alright, at the end of your turn, the Kraken's going to use his legendary action to do another lightning storm. So you, and then Jesper this time. No, you're not. No, you're not. I was named that. So Arthur, Aestus, and Jesper, give me a dexterity saving throw.
That's fine.
Ooh, what is up with you doing?
19.
19. Alright.
12.
12.
13.
13. All 3 of you fail.
19? You have to roll natural 20 to pass.
So you can expend another use.
I don't know how many I have, so yeah, I'm still going to start that.
Alright. So you expend another use, so you automatically succeed on the saving throw. Well, woe and wheel, right? Each of you take 29 points of lightning damage, halved if you succeeded.
So 15?
Yes.
Get that.
Is that
14.
14.
14.
29, you said?
29 points of lightning damage. As you watch as these thunderbolts now finding their purpose, you can feel the fury. You can feel the fury within this electricity. All of you feeling the ozone kind of dissipate before the strike actually comes. That's his turn. It is now the Kraken's actual turn. The Kraken then is going to. You start to feel the entire boat like shift for a second. The one that you are working on tries to like pull itself away, but it can't move right now. The rest of them, though, the two that are up top, immediately just kind of submerge with the crew members still on them into the water, and you see the other one submerge, and slowly you feel the entire ship start to shift towards its right side. And as it does, you all watch as this sort of hole in the ocean opens up, and each of you see at the bottom of this hole this large, several road mouth opens up with these open teeth. And as it does, the entire crew begins to sort of slide down towards it. I need everyone on the main deck to give me a dexterity saving throw. Or any other way you think that you can keep yourself from sliding.
Oh yeah, can I try to like fucking dig my sword through the tentacle again into the ground, like hold my
Sure.
hold?
I'll
Yeah.
just hold on to
So
the
give me
tentacle.
Strength save.
give me an attack roll.
Attack roll.
Yeah.
Alright, wait, what are you doing?
All right.
Attacking
What are you doing?
11.
I'm gonna try to basically hold on to the tentacle.
Hold on to the tentacle. Okay.
I'm gonna use the
strange.
pointed bottom of my shield. I'm basically gonna like 3-point stance and try to pound the shield down into the deck and kind of hold on with the bottom of the shield to hold on to the deck.
All right.
Can I try to grapple him?
Yeah. Yeah.
Can I ask if I am attacking the tentacle or if I'm attacking
You just get. I just asked for a straight attack roll.
straight attack?
Yeah.
What would you like me to do with the shield?
I rolled for it.
Yeah. Give me more of a
It's an object.
Give me more of a strength check.
Okay.
All right. So what was your?
I was trying. What am I rolling?
So yeah, give me a strength check.
Am I just grappling?
Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna use my ability to have advantage.
And then you're flying, right?
I think that's fine.
He's got 5.
18.
18. All right.
And 11 to hit a boat.
Okay. 11 to hit a boat. That it hits.
Yeah, thank God.
All right.
20 to grapple.
20. I'll make
You might.
3.
Oh my
3 on the die. So yeah, you go ahead and grapple onto it, and
With the shield, I got a 3.
3.
Yeah.
All right. So you begin to slide down as you try and slam the. So you immediately, as it's coming down, you immediately take the Naaman's greatsword and slam it into the deck. So it kind of stickles around, and it gives a little bit for a second, and then you are fine as the whole boat is now at almost a 45-degree angle in the water. You immediately just grab onto the tentacles. It's just as you watch the tentacles basically holding the Kraken up in its own position, and you're kind of just like dangling there on the side a bit for a second as you watch this tweaking off. And you see a few other crew members. Oh my god. You watch as only one of the crew members fall in. The rest of them immediately grab onto something and hold on for dear life, miraculously holding onto the ship as the one man just goes crawling down. And as you do, you hear, ah! As he watches the tentacles just smash into the body, swallowing it whole. As you hear a loud, monstrous roar emanate from this creature. You begin sliding as well, eventually making its way into the Kraken. You are now at the edge of the boat as you kind of like slam up your back against the railing on the side of the boat. You're now right in the Kraken's face. You're flying, so you're fine. And then you immediately just grapple on to the, much like him, you both kind of look at each other as you both kind of slam into the deck. Both grappling on the sides. That'll be the Kraken's turn, however. In its head, you all hear,
I will eat well tonight.
and that's his turn. Dell, you're up.
I am going to. How far away is the Kraken from me?
How far away is the Kraken?
Yeah.
It's a while out there. At minimum, at this point, as you're on shore now, about 200 feet. It's a while.
You can see some crazy shit going on.
Also, still keeping in mind, it is pouring down raining, and the best you guys can see are just the flashes of lightning spurting on top of the ship that are giving way to everything happening.
I am going to move down onto the beach in between the pirates and the Kraken and hold my action to, if it comes over and attacks them or the trebuchets, attack it and try to rough terrain the tentacle.
All right, got it. All right, yeah. So, that'll be your turn. Held action. Ready? All right, Dean.
Okay, so on the side of the ship is like tentacles pulling it down.
Yes. currently. The whole ship is at like a 45-degree angle now. You hear the mast starting to creak and give way as it's about to fall.
I'm gonna go to one of those tentacles that's sort of like wrapped around the ship and position myself so that I can hit the tentacle and not the ship.
All right.
And I'm gonna clap demolish. Right.
Oh.
Try to get like some fire, force damage, maybe force it off.
All right, yeah.
So,
Go ahead.
so
Demolish, spelled by Zack
demolish if
I will say, both of the tentacles that are keeping it aloft are currently keeping both Arthur and Panzer aloft.
Dude, you gotta risk it for
Yeah,
this.
yeah, I'm so gonna do it.
You
Alright.
just kill it.
So
Constitution saving throw?
Dexterity.
Yeah, I'm gonna be
Dexterity saving throw.
Uh-oh, it's not very dexterous.
I'm gonna be
Good at that. That's a 6 on the die.
That might be it. What's your...
Well, D15 is a DC. So
You got a 14.
yes.
It's dexterous.
He did something.
Dean did something, guys!
All right.
The first time ever!
Which tentacle are you trying
First
to
time
hit?
the panel
So they're each on one of them.
Yes.
The one Arthur.
All right.
No, I'm hitting the one that you're on.
Oh. I thought you were helping me.
So
You can give it really bad.
it takes
What
1d6
is
fire
himself?
damage, 1d6 force damage,
Yeah.
I do have
and because it failed a saving
Six
throw,
health.
next time 6 damage, I want it to be fire damage.
Fire damage. All right.
I'm activated.
So, you all watch as Dean immediately cracks open this this tentacle. I would like you to give me a spellcasting ability check. So you give me roll the d20 and add your intelligence to see how well you can sculpt this spell to give Arthur the best possibility.
I would be a natural 1 plus 4, so 5.
5. All right. So Arthur, as it is, you watch as Dean flying there amidst the lightning backdrop in the background. You immediately hear him utter an incantation you've heard once before. As the whole tentacle just burst open, you hear several cracks as spines of some sort inside of this tentacle just break and crack, and you feel it wriggle for a second. And trying to control itself on top of the ship, it immediately instinctually flings back and flings you about 20 feet out into the water.
Oh my god.
As it comes down. However, with that, you watch as the tentacle comes off and the whole ship stops from being about 45-degree angle up and gives way to more about a like 25-ish degree angle.
Is the maw still like there? Like
It's still there, but you are not directly within it anymore. As you hear like the snapping about to come towards you, the ship instinctually pulls back after Dean's demolish, and you watch as the claws just come up and try and smack into you and grab into it. You see it takes out a big chunk of the ship with its teeth, but it doesn't grab you.
Oh, thank God.
All right?
I was pretty close to that too, right?
So
However, you're in the water now.
It takes 5 force damage and 2 fire damage.
All right. All right. Is that your turn, Dean?
Yeah, and I'm gonna whatever movement I have left, head over to Arthur to make sure that he's.
All right. As you do, you immediately rush over as Arthur is currently in the water. You have your armor on, right?
I do.
Yeah. And so, yeah, it's very difficult for you to swim.
Okay.
All right.
Now
Back-
we'll get there.
Back to the top of the round. It'll be Charles's turn.
Come on,
Charles is going to, now that he is freed and he has his quarterstaff in hand, he's going to look at you. Dean, can you get Arthur?
Yes.
All right.
By the way, that's gonna kill me.
Yeah. Charles is going to make a
Fireball!
Charles is going to. Charles is going to take a note out of your book, and he's going to target the other tentacle. Yeah.
Oh man.
no.
Charles is going to. You watch as he takes his quarterstaff and slams it into the ground, and as he does, he sort of stands, does like a handstand on top of it as it grows up and begins to like tilt a bit.
What?
As it does, he brings it back up to its regular quarterstaff range, and he watches he has a line in both the maw of the Kraken and the regular tentacle. He watches he brings the quarterstaff down, and as he starts to bring it down, it grows in size and length as it slams down and hits both the tentacle grabbing you and the other maw of the Kraken. Kraken has to make another dexterity saving throw. That fails. All right. And the Kraken takes. I'll have one of you roll this for me. One of you roll me 10d8.
Oh
We
my
got a lot of
god.
these over here. Let's do it over here. We got a lot of
I'll
these.
take care of the
We got a lot of
We got how much
these.
fashion?
Yeah.
Roll 2, we
Here's three.
one.
We have 4 right here.
There's 3 more.
Just 8? Alright, we got 8d10 or 8d8 right here. This is the cone of cold. Plus another 2.
Yo.
We got 2 more, bro.
Oh, we got our 10.
Alright, 10d8. Give us a big old roll here.
Damage, baby.
Okay. 10, 14, 17. Put that away. 7. 8?
Yep.
48 points of damage.
Yes.
48 points of damage. As you watch, see slams into it. All of you hear a sort of crack, and as it does, it slams in. You see a sort of verdant, greenish, radiant energy radiate off of the staff as it slams in and immediately dissipate.
Plus 5 fire damage.
It's 5 fire damage.
And it dies.
And it's dead.
And, yeah, congratulations.
Killed the Kraken.
5 points of fire damage. You guys have done a decent amount to this thing. As the Kraken goes, "Rah!
So you are the primary threat. Very well.
He realized
the first 44 damage wasn't
wasn't quite clear.
All right, is that your turn?
The other 40.
That's Charles's.
Oh, that's right. You're right. Sorry. After Charles is Ezekiel.
Yep. Seeing all the fire and explosions and fun stuff, I'm gonna run over to the trees
Okay.
and also help direct, but for the most part, just kind of cut the lines since I can run by really quickly.
All right. Yeah. So go ahead and give me a dexterity check.
Dexterity.
You'd be more
11.
11.
Yes.
So you're an extra body. You're still helping out. You do see some people starting to tire, and as you do, you kind of swiftly with your. Luckily, you're a lot faster than they are too. So even with the 11, you're still able to go past and rush past and do the work of about 3 men at one time. As you rush past, and you see some people like giving way, and they seem to be emaciated and gaunt, and having to like power through this. However, you just take the force and start looking for the people that are starting to fall behind, and just pick up for them, immediately helping out. So yeah, there you go. All right, is that your turn?
Yeah.
All right, Jesper, you're up. But before you go, the Kraken's going to use his legendary action to cause another lightning storm. He's going to target Charles. He's going to target Dean. And he's going to target Aestus.
There's no Leroy.
Alright, I need all 3 of you to give me a dexterity saving throw.
Another 7.
DC's 20.
I rolled very well on that last one. Have you? Alright. Totals?
16.
16? So,
So close.
use your reaction and your last use of...
Nope.
You don't?
Nope.
Okay.
We're not done yet.
Alright.
I'm not doing that yet.
Alright. And then who's the last one? Sorry. And then Charles, that's right.
Charles.
Charles got a natural 1. Alright.
Plus 30.
Luckily, he's resistant. You guys take 18 points of lightning damage. Have if you choose to succeed. Yeah. It was a 10, 8, 9, and 6. Or something like that. Alright. So, alright. That will be the Kraken's legendary action. After that, Jesper.
So I'll start off by, as I see Arthur fall into the water, I'd like to communicate telepathically with my seahorse.
Alright.
Swoop him up.
Seahorse OP.
And
All right.
just try to like take care of him.
Yeah.
So that'll happen like when it gets to it, I guess.
Okay, yeah.
And then I'll, as I'm sliding back and this Kraken takes a huge bite out of the ship, I'm gonna sheath my rapier, and as I do, I'll grab my Divine Resurgence, this small vial that's just glowing with this radiant energy, and I'll uncork it and down the hatch, and I'll heal really quickly from that.
Alright.
So that'll kind of, give me a little bit of a boost. And then I want to run, since the ship is not like completely back anymore, I'm going to start running and try to make my way up the ship, up to where those two are standing.
All right, you got it.
Can I make it there with my 30 feet of movement without dashing?
Yeah.
Okay,
So
cool.
you can.
Well, you're in the water, right?
Yeah.
So it's just you?
Yes.
How is he looking?
How are you looking?
I am exactly that.
Half his blood is gone.
He looks pretty roughed up.
Okay.
He's definitely like right now he's prone as he was trying to hang on to the side of the ship, but the sudden jerking has kind of like scraped him across the floor. Just coated in seawater. You see he's like about an inch into the water.
Okay. I'll see like a wound where he's bleeding out a little bit, and I'll like patch it with my hand and like move over and try to heal him of his wounds a little bit.
All right.
Okay. So I'm gonna do lay on hands for you and give you 10 hit points.
Oh, that's so sweet of you.
And then that's my turn.
All right. Awesome. That's your turn. At the end, Jesper's turn. Okay.
Does the Kraken look like it's just biting wildly at the ship, kind of, or is it like...
It doesn't seem to be biting wildly. It does seem to be biting with some aspects of precision. You see it's starting to chew through the middle of the ship, and it's just breaking the whole
What is
thing
it just like
in half.
continuously biting at it, like trying to like tear off as much as it can?
It seems that the first bite was to try and get Jesper, and the second one was to try and get him even more, but it seems just so hell-bent on its pathway through this ship at this point, it's just going all the way through.
I'm grappling the tentacle, right?
Yes.
So I would like to try to pull the tentacle and shove it into its own mouth.
All right, that'll be very difficult to do.
I'm gonna try it.
I'd say give me a strength check with disadvantage.
But raging.
All right.
So
yeah, it's my roll.
I'm gonna try it. Please. Natural one.
As you try and just grab onto the tentacle and hoist it down for you, the sheer strength of the muscle, you've never fought anything this powerful in all the campaigns you've served in. And it's just so powerful you cannot, for the life of you, move it at this exact moment. An unfamiliar foe. That'll be one attack, I'd say.
I mean, I only have one attack.
All right, is that your turn?
Yeah.
High risk, high reward. All right. At the end of your turn, Alanon.
I'm gonna continue guiding the soldiers. All right, men. Change your targets to the left. Looks like we have the mouths open. I'm gonna give him a spicy snack. All right.
Oh yeah.
Fire!
Go ahead.
Chef Alanon serving up spicy snacks.
Spicy snack.
Spicy snacks.
That's bardic inspiration.
19 again.
19. You watch as the crew all kind of look over. It seems they haven't heard a joke in a while. As they all kind of look over and they go, aye, Captain One Arm. Aye, let's get to it. You watch as they all immediately change their trajectories. You do see some people on standby that seem to be knowing what they're doing. They are all in black clothes, similar to that man that you saw before with the black military coat on. And you watch as they all begin ready to fire into the mouth of the creature. All right. And is that your turn?
Yep.
After you, it is their turn now.
Let's go. Can we kill this thing?
They are going to.
You think it's?
You can try. So they're gonna fire 3 more shots, 4 more with the help of Ezekiel, sort of running through and helping. That's 18 hits, another 18 hits, miss, and a hit. So 3 hit.
That's pretty good. You have 4.
Why is his mouth?
Spicy snacks and sticky drinks.
No sticky drinks.
The implications.
We were told they're not allowed to bring.
No sticky drinks in this crew.
Only spicy snacks.
46 points of fire.
That's extra high.
As you guys on deck, as Jessica begins going over you and it kind of helps you up from your feet, getting ready for the battle ahead, you see another maul. It's about to be halfway through the ship at this point. Opens up the fire. You hear another strike of lightning, and from above you feel a loud whoosh of air. And as you watch it pass over, you see 3 barrels filled with hot oil as the mouth opens up, immediately go, and you hear as a from inside the stomach, and you see smoke begin billowing out of the inside of the Kraken. At this point,
Let's go.
it is not a happy.
Go for us now.
All right.
Bind it. Bind it.
So you
bind
and
it.
All right.
right.
And then at this point,
Something else.
at this point, you all, for a second, in the distance, those of you on the ship, you begin seeing the waters around you begin to whirl.
Oh god.
Oh no.
Oh yes.
All right. At that point, you guys quickly hear a loud, and you see immediately on top of the deck, you see a individual looking like white skin, black hair with dots running down his chin as he comes, and you hear him say something very loud. You guys can hear it as you're all having to shout over the course of the storm. He's like, "Bartimus, come on, the ritual's ready." And he goes way high. He's like, "Good luck, gentlemen." And he bamps away. Alone, left on the ship. You guys.
I'm on a team.
Alright. At this point also, as you are in the water sinking with this armor on top of you, the pure rage filling your body. In the distance, as you're kind of sinking in with another flash of lightning from above, you just see the outline of this gigantic creature.
I'm gonna punch him as soon as he comes
It's about like 20 feet away from you at this point. But it's just, you see this gigantic head, elongated tentacles even rotating underneath you. And you just see, you've never seen a creature this large before in your entire life. It's going about 20 feet down long, and the tentacles go down into darkness you can't even see.
Fuck us.
Alright? But as you do, you start to see a sudden rush of white in the distance as you watch as the seahorse comes and picks you up and hoists you out into the sea. You watch as a seahorse makes its way out of the water, and you see Arthur on top.
I'm majestic as hell, right?
That is how majestic. Your shirt rips
I
off.
literally look like Jason Momoa and Aquaman. That's
You do.
actually.
Riding these giant seals.
The two remaining sets of crew people do actually get two of the tentacles that are down, that are up on the opposite side, and pull them back onto the ship. You watch as they are terrified and trying to move towards them all, but they move towards it and are able to pull up two of the tentacles that were slithering their way up onto the ship fully. All right, yeah. That is that turn. Arthur, you're up.
I'm riding the seahorse. I am gravely wounded, and it's eating a ship. And there's a whirlpool forming around it.
Yes.
Is there anyone in the water I can pick up on the way?
You do see several bodies kind of floating around.
Or they? Okay,
You see some that are floating down into the depths. A good amount, actually.
I'm gonna snag as many people as possible. I'm gonna pull them up.
Okay, go ahead and give me a strength check. The seahorse is doing.
Still raging.
Yes.
12.
12. You try and pick up one guy, however, you're gravely wounded yourself, and you look at others gasping for air in the rough currents, but you can only get one. Alright, is that your turn?
Yep.
Alright. Aces.
Alright, so currently there are two being held down, right?
There are two being held down. Crew rolled very well.
Yeah, I'm gonna go after. I don't even hit.
Neither have been.
Okay, I'm gonna go after one.
Alright.
Which one?
Alright, go ahead and make your attack.
Is it restrained at this point?
Yes.
I fucking need it. My roll's been trash today. Kill. Alright, so 24 to hit.
That'll hit.
Got one. It's 12 points slashing damage on the first one.
12 points of slashing damage.
As well as 5 fire damage.
As well as 5 fire damage. Thank you very much.
Put in the work.
And then 23 to hit.
That'll hit as well. Double damage.
How long does that last?
Until it's expended.
It's only once.
Yeah. Every time he fails a save.
Yes, every time it fails to save.
That's 11. And then 11 points slashing damage.
Which one fails a save? It's 6 fire.
Alright.
And I am going to take my bonus action, second wind.
Alright. Alright, is that your turn?
That is my turn. I get 11 hit points back with the second wind.
Damn.
At the end of your turn, it is now the Kraken's turn. The Kraken. The Kraken is going to. Yeah.
Kill us.
These guys aren't within 5 feet anymore, though. The Kraken's going to go ahead and make a tentacle attack against Charles. It's going to make one against you because you're starting to hurt a lot.
Is it a disadvantage because it's strength?
Yeah, because the only two that are there and the other ones can't reach over the ship. So yeah, I'll say that. And then let's see. The last one. Last one's just going to try and clear out some more crew because the crew fucking pinned it down. First one against Charles. It's an actual 20.
Oh no.
Extra crap.
Second one against
double grappled.
second one against you is a 30.
Oh, wait, it had
Was
disadvantage.
that with
right?
disadvantage?
Oh. A natural 1.
Oh! The natural ones
Sure.
are coming in
And I hit the
incredibly
damage.
clutch and incredibly unclutch.
Yeah. And then the last one against the crew. That crew is going to get wiped out. As you watch as the one crew holding it down, not the one that you're going against, you see the other crew that are trying to hold it down. It immediately breaks free of the grapple, and you watch as the tentacle slams one set of the crew to the side, and they get slammed up against the wall. You see sort of laying on the ground motionless. The other ones, it comes back and then grapples the rest of them, and the tentacles squeezing them up in the air. The thing looks very pissed right now. And then the one against crit against Charles is going to hurt. 17. 30 points of bludgeoning damage.
So as I see that happen,
Alright.
I'm going to look at it, and just like that, we saw that lightning bolt straight before and go back at the creature.
Yeah.
I'm going to point my finger at it and summon some divine energy, and just as that tentacle smacks into him, this burst of bright light streaks back into the creature and hits it back for the same amount of damage that it dealt.
Alright.
It makes a wisdom save.
Alright. See how it does on that. That's a natural 1
Oh yeah!
What's the total?
for a total of 13.
So it fails, so it takes 30 points of radiant damage.
As you watch as this wonderful radiant display immediately shines, immediately kind of blinding you all, but more of a warm glow immediately as it slams into the mouth of the creature as it Alright, nice work. Alright. That would be the end of the Kraken's turn. Alright, Del, you're up.
Alright, looking out over this rain pouring down my face, I'm gonna glance back at the pirates and see what they're doing.
You glance back at the pirates?
Yeah.
You see, give me a perception check.
Sure. Nice. 20.
20. As you look over, clearly you can see all of them outlined. All of them, only 3 of their hands left holding up an item in them. And you watch as you look over, you see what appears to be a broken greatsword in the hand of Crom be thrown into this bowl. And as it does, you watch as a torrent of water spins up out of the bowl and then lands back onto the ground. And as you guys are on the boat, you see the whirlpool getting stronger and stronger.
That's a good
All right.
It doesn't happen.
Does the
It's not all the that's good.
Does the whirlpool seem to be named at pulling us in?
It not really. As it gets stronger and stronger, you notice it flurrying around the boat, but you don't see it really.
Is it like pulling the creature off of the boat in any way?
Very gently. It seems that the creature's pull on your ship is
like
much
a
stronger
glacier.
right now, but not yet. Yeah. All right.
Am I able to do any kind of check to see if I can understand what exactly they're doing?
I say right now this turn you spent your action trying to search. However, is there anything you would like to do with your movement or bonus action?
No.
Alright. Alright, at the end of your turn, 2 things are going to happen. At first, those of you on the boat that begins seeing it in disrepair. You watch as a few set of spiders begin making their way up the boat, and you begin seeing them immediately moving over towards crew members that seem to be hurt and such, sort of webbing up different parts of the boat and trying to keep it safe. It seems to actually help the integrity of the boat and doesn't seem to be giving way as much anymore, perhaps giving you guys another few rounds to get off. Also, at the end of that action, the Kraken is going to use its Lightning Storm ability once more against you, against Charles, Aestus, and then against Dean. Or no, Jesper. Dean hasn't really done a whole lot. Alright.
Alright, guys, here we go.
Alright. Give me a dexterity saving throw, if you would. Charles fails. Alright, totals?
17.
Okay. Fails,
I know,
sorry.
I know. I'm gonna use the last charge.
Okay, alright. 11.
At level 5.
22 points of lightning damage.
You okay, buddy?
You alright?
Oh, good. See you, buddy.
Are you down? I had 22 hit points.
Oh.
No. You down?
But the good thing is I'm right next to you.
You are.
So you watch as you go down. Jesper falls down onto the ground immediately. Kind of falls down. You see the shield kind of clatter and sort of wash over towards the edge of the ship. Not falling off yet, but kind of like on the edge of the ship.
It's my radio.
I don't think I can get this.
All right.
Is that madness?
Yes, everyone gets a point of madness.
I didn't see it.
3 of us?
Yeah. Those of you that are in the area, you get a point of
Madness
madness.
system.
Alright, and at the end of your turn, Dean, you're up.
Okay. I'm going to head over to the seahorse.
Okay.
Oh, really?
Can I find a seat on it?
Not right now. There's currently Arthur on top, as well as a person he's carrying.
There's only some drew on the seahorse.
The whirlpool does seem incredibly fast at this point, and it seems like it's about to go.
Yeah, he'd help you out. You see Dean come over to you, fly.
Oh, hello, Dean.
Get this man to safety, and I'm going to simultaneously, as I'm above the seahorse, stop concentrating on fly.
Okay.
And as I'm passing the seahorse into the water, I'm going to cast fly on the seahorse.
What?
All right. Yeah.
Is that allowed?
As you fall down, and immediately you see Dean just touch the seahorse and really go down.
And maybe like try to grab on the seahorse? Maybe like see if I can like.
Give me a strength check.
Oh, strength.
Oh, buddy.
Dean's a strong boy.
Yikes.
Seahorse, I'm gonna
2.
You kind of grab on, you kind of just splash into the water, kind of belly flop, and it kind of stings for a bit.
Dean sack.
Is that your turn now?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
At the end of your turn, the whirlpool at this point picks up fully. Those of you on the boat, you watch as the spiders try and patch it up as best they can. It kind of gives you guys a bit of a way for a second, but you see a large tentacle, two large tentacles that were once before, one of them that was charred by the flames from before in the combat, reach up out of the other side of the combat and start coming down on top of the boat. What are you doing?
I'm unconscious.
I know.
Is the boat in danger?
So is the boat falling into the whirlpool?
It seems that this is like the Kraken's last chance, basically, and it's coming down with its tentacles, trying to do as much damage as it possibly can.
I'm going to pick up my little boy.
All right.
Tiny.
Yep. And I'm going to run away from the two tentacles. I was in the middle of the
So towards the mouth.
I'm gonna run. No. I'm gonna run away towards like the because here ship. I'm gonna run towards the front of the ship.
All right, you got it. So you pick him up, put him on your shoulder, and just begin rushing your way out. Give me a athletics check
Yeah, Captain.
for how well you can traverse your way.
24.
24. You immediately just hoist yourself with one hand on the top banister and pull yourself up with one hand and hoist yourself over. And you immediately just start running towards the deck, and you're at the end now. All right.
I'm gonna reach down and grab Dean. Yank him up.
All right. Give me a strength check.
It's going to be 26.
26 easily. You feel immediately this rough hand reach up, and as Arthur turns to you, you hear a voice reach out and go, "You are not dying today," and just hoist you forward in the water.
And
yeah,
I'm basically Appa Yip Yip to the sea.
All right, Appa Yip Yip.
Yip Yip.
Panzer, what are you doing?
I don't want to get eaten or pulled into the whirlpool.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make. Would it be hard to reach?
I mean, I'm proficient
where they are, or like, is there a bunch of tentacles blocking my path and stuff? Or
You could rush past, bum rush out onto the boat and just drop to the sea floor like you've done before.
Would I get sucked in though? Like to the whirlpool?
You're not sure.
Okay.
You can certainly try.
Yeah, I know I can certainly try. I guess I'll make one last cut, just for good measure, at the, actually, I'll do, like, since it seems it's about to get sucked in, right?
Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna bum rush, like, disengage action, and then get as, like, far away as I can possibly get from the Kraken and the Whirlpool towards, like, whatever rail that would be, your side of the ship that would be.
Alright.
And then I'm going to... Are they nearby?
No.
She's on a flying seahorse.
Yeah, that's right. I'll be like,
Aces will be like
I'll
right
try
by
to find you. Try to send something to come
unconscious dude on my shoulder.
I'm gonna be at the bottom of the ocean. Bye.
Yeah, Aces will be right by you at this point because he's still making his way across the.
Okay, he's right by me.
Yes.
I'm gonna say, come look for me. I'll try to stay where I am at the bottom of the ocean.
And you hear that as you're running away.
Would I be crushed by the pressure? Do I know that?
You haven't before. You haven't been that deep.
The water is very deep. I was underwater before.
I don't know how deep the water is.
You're only about.
Yeah, we're not that far from the beach.
You are 200 feet offshore, so you don't know.
I saw the Kraken. It goes deep dark. Deep dark.
Risk it for the bit.
Yeah, but resistance to damage from barbarian range.
On weapon damage.
All right.
Shoot, yeah, you're right.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
I'm gonna run. I disengaged. I'm gonna run up. You know what? How tall is the mast pointing straight up still? Right now?
Yes, it's pointing straight up. It's like creaking to one side, but
it's not like breaking though, right?
No, not yet.
I'm gonna climb to the top of the mast.
Okay.
Like,
all right.
Up the ring, because that'll give me some like distance and some time to make a decision.
So you immediately put the greatsword in the back and just start climbing up and up top the mast. All right.
So I'll be as high up as I can.
All right. Give me a athletics check.
Oh yeah.
Get it.
I have advantage.
Thank God.
Okay, 21.
21. You just power grip up the mast.
So many.
All right. Is that your turn?
Yeah, I'm gonna stay up there.
All right. And at this point, as all of you have gotten to your own aspects of it, you watching the rest of the incantation, you watch as the final thing, you watch as Viper Renegade pulls that one pearl earring that she had in her ear off of her, raise it up, and then toss it into the bowl. You see a familiar torrent of water immediately come up. And give me a perception check.
18.
18. Very glinting off of this single pile of water. This whole torrent seems to hold faster than the rest of them did. You see what seems to be a large face of an elderly individual with long flowing white beard, staring back at them and talking in a language you don't understand. Upon completing, the head nods and the water torrent falls down onto the ground and begins seeping into the ocean. Those of you on the boat, the whirlpool immediately fully encompasses the Kraken as y'all in your head say,
"No, I will not be bound again."
And as you watch, you see 5 large purplish cylindrical objects begin making their way out of the whirlpool. And as they become more and more, it takes the form of fingers, and eventually a large ethereal purplish hand that comes out of the whirlpool. As it does, you watch as it fully grasps on top of the Kraken, and you feel a shift in both the boat and the Kraken as it holds on to the creature with its might. The Kraken thrashes around, and in all of your minds you hear, "No! No!" as the whole hand crushes it and then rips it down forward. Immediately, the entire ship, pieces of it splinter off and crack into the ground in the watery depths below you. You immediately are flung off, spinning into the distance, all of you immediately just see lightning just thrash around violently as the krakens, the remaining of the tendrils that are up, crashing into it, slip off in a violent fury, trying to grab on at the last fabrics of this sinking vessel. Before it can, though, it's immediately ripped off and pulled down into the depths below. As you are on the seahorse, you just see a giant purple hand. You see an entire forearm in the water as it pulls down this entity into the waters. The tendrils and the whole body sink into inky darkness below with nothing left.
Sweet. Goddamn.
We win.
And with that, we will end tonight's session then. We'll end right there. Pick up next time on the afterwards of this endeavor.
What?
So, yeah.
You can start with death saves.
Yeah, right? Start with death saves. Alright, well,
Thanks for watching, I guess.
Yeah, thank you guys for watching.
I hope we are watching.
We'll be doing this again 2 weeks from now, so make sure to check in on the YouTube channel, Bearcast Media.
Shout out to our producers.
We'll
Ruby.
see you there. Yeah, shout out to our producers, Brendan Mitchell and Mike Mazel, as well as our floor director, Jake Luby.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, this has been BTV D&D, Creator Chronicles Fracture. See ya.
See you next time.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.